mean, when you look at Chuan and the fact that he loves that Queen of Pain as well, he played it, I believe, today too. Giving away Visage, picking Queen of Pain is gonna make sure that that Visage has no laning stage whatsoever. Storm you can kind of play against, but versus Queen it could be a bit more tougher.
Yeah, that could happen. They might think that if you want this hero, it means that you're gonna have to sacrifice your laning phase so much that it might not be worth it for you to pick the hero.
The only problem is there's not only that Visage, there's also a Meepo, there's the Broodmother, there's the Lone Druid.
But what would you say is his best hero apart from Lone Druid?
I think Visage is probably the one he plays the most. Meepo obviously the scariest one, as he can just take the game over, but Visage is, I believe, his most played one.
Well, at the moment we have Aster banning out none of the quote-unquote cheese heroes. They do ban out Vanscore's Ancient Apparition though, and the Bat Rider as well from BZZ. By the way, the Lone Druid still. Interesting to note for Forze, they are one of the very few teams that have their captaining from the offlane rather than as a support. And we'll see what kind of impact that has as the Snapfire gets picked up first by Forze.
Yeah, BZZ so far has been just picking the hero that he likes to play quite
Mars.
a lot, like that Pango as well, right?
I think his role in this team is like pretty straightforward. He is going to be making space for the other two cores to farm because they take up a lot more space. And I do think that that's an ideal way of playing Dota right now, where you have an offlaner that requires lower amount of resource, like we saw the Clockwork earlier. Offlane Clockwork, Pango is very similar, Mars is very similar. You don't need too many items, and you can always be there to defend the towers and to fight.
I still think Vanscore is the one making most of the calls, at least in the game, being their position 5. So you can have the drafter on your offlane. It doesn't really.
And then it doesn't matter who you have.
I love the opening from Aster, by the way. Everything, the way they've approached this draft completely looks like tier 1, right? They got rid of one of those pesky heroes such as Lone Druid, they got rid of him, and then they open up with Rubik and Omniknight. Basically, if you have that Omniknight, you don't really want to give them the opportunity to have that Rubik. So you cover yourself instantly in this first stage, you pick the support and the offlaner that can also be a 5.
Taking their time here for their second pick, going into bonus time quite heavily. Normally there's like a set opening you want to go for, right?
But this is a very important junction because you're reacting towards the 2 picks, and you're also planning a very important hero here because you're going into the ban phase after. So this pick is extremely crucial for them. They get to pick a strong core hero and ban 2 heroes that's really good against the core.
You get that Arena plus Snapfire's ulti, Mortimer's Kiss. You do get a good combo, you get an offlaner, you aren't giving too much away. It's a decent pick for them. The only question is, where do Aster go from here? Like, they have this Omniknight, it's definitely something planned. And will Forze be able to react to it in the second stage?
Well, I didn't really like it in the first series where they put it on Gipki, Mars. He was playing the Mars in
on mid lane, you're right, it was...
I kind of feel like it's probably much better that the Mars is always going to be on BZZ. It's better for the way the team operates. Because I think Gipki should be like...
the win condition, right?
Yeah, the win
Mars
condition.
isn't that, really.
Yeah, the win condition hero, and you play around him as a team.
They ban out the Slark, so that pretty much tells us that most likely the Mars will be the offlaner, so...
Because you do not want to lane against a Slark as a Mars. What do you want to lane against? Or rather, what will Aster want to put against the Mars?
I'll tell you that most of the offlaners want to lane against the Spectre. Because the Spectre doesn't do anything to you.
Well, I believe we saw a Spectre earlier not being successful, so...
Interesting that Aster ban out that OD. Overall, it is one of those heroes that you can pick up versus Omniknight, so in that way it does make sense.
Yeah, and because they are on the second phase, it's very difficult for them to pick it in the next 2 picks because there's always going to be picking first before that Forze picks the hero. So it actually is going to be a much better pick for Forze if they do it on the 18th.
Yeah. Also for Aster, now that they have Omniknight, now that OD is out, they can be thinking about Medusa as well. You have that save, you have your buff into Omniknight. OD is banned out, can't get countered that way. Slark is also banned out by Forze.
You probably want to do it on the last pick, I think the overall last pick.
Yeah.
Most likely. The last game between Crazy, they actually picked the Medusa they were second pick and they picked the Medusa on the 18.
Yeah.
But didn't really.
And then
17, sorry.
Then they got Arc Warden.
Yeah,
right?
they. I was quite surprised of the outcome of the lane, though. I thought it would actually be a 50-50 lane. In the mid.
Arc is strong in that lane overall. I think it's.
He crushed the lane so
Yeah.
much, though. It was so bad for the Medusa.
Well, this mid laner matchup that we have here, we already heard Chuan talk about how he prefers to be the space creating mid for
that's-
the squad.
Yeah,
That's strange considering he did play some greedy.
But he's a
wards, right?
natural
Yeah.
space maker for a mid lane.
Mm.
Because he's from Malaysia, I know him quite a bit.
Mm.
And the way he plays Dota is more selfless, you know. He's
Mhm.
not the kind of mid player that wants the plays to be around him. He doesn't want the plans to be situated around him. He is much more comfortable with playing for someone else. He likes to help. He's always quick to react when there's a fight and always cares for other people's first before himself. That's why he's more suitable for playing the space-making mid laners.
I wish I would get one teammate like that in pubs.
No.
Just one single. You know.
I guess.
Or you can be that person.
Yeah, you can be that person.
Yes.
Be the change you want to see in the world, Lizard. That's how that works.
But do you know what that literally means? Be a position 5 and run behind someone and shield him with an Abaddon. Or that doesn't win you games, Shiver.
It does win me games.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess I'm the problem.
As an ogre, I'll just bloodlust people. You know, that's what I do.
Oh, that's a really good pick there. Shell Demon.
Oh.
It counters the Omni plus the Bane.
It's
Pretty good response.
not really. Do we see it very often as well?
The
I
Shadow
think-
Demon.
Demon right
I think
now, yeah.
he's
The Bane also. We
Yeah,
haven't
but
seen
I
that
think he's
often.
pretty good right now because of the change to the talents here. And what was the change? He has okay. The ulti change doesn't really matter so much. Additional 50 damage.
By the way, I love the meepo right now for Forze. Versus these 3 heroes, it looks like I don't know the last 2 picks, but even when you're playing versus 3, like 1 core
Yeah,
and 2 supports that don't do anything to
This
you.
3
it's-
picks alone itself, like,
yeah.
Meepo is going to destroy
Yeah,
it.
already meepo looks
And
great.
if they want to pick the Meepo, they have to pick it in the next one. They are not
Mhm.
going to get it.
It's gonna
the
be
last.
banned.
Can
yeah.
you purge off Guardian Angel?
Yes, but you cannot push off the Heavenly Grace.
Heavenly Grace,
Grace.
Yeah.
No.
Where Aster has to find, like at this junction, if you're a second pick, you kind of want to find a hero that can go to both lanes if possible. So you don't really reveal too much information towards the opponent. Like heroes that can go to mid and carry. Examples would be like an Ember or a Razor. So they're gonna put all the lanes set in stone right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I totally can see a Meepo working really well
Yeah.
here.
Even versus Storm, the only question is, do they counter him with SECC hero, right? That's the only
Yeah.
problem that can happen.
But it's already so good with against the 4 heroes.
Yeah, yeah. If you're good against 4, you're fine with that.
But then you would have to pick him right now because there's a big
Yeah,
chance
they
that
have
he's
to
going to
pick
get
him now.
banned, right?
If they even go for that, they still have other options. You still have your Visage, you still have your Lone.
I mean, the other
no, Lone you
the
don't,
other
yeah.
option would be to go with Huskar,
Yeah.
because so he can dominate the lane.
You can't ban out all the cheese heroes.
I mean, I think they're in a pretty good spot to pick something that can be a game-winning hero in the mid lane.
Razor. All right. That's probably your safe laner versus the Omni Knight, so this could be a
Yep.
bait. And now they want to just last pick Meepo, I think, because that's
But
how
why,
it looks
why
like.
would you do that? Like, they are more likely to ban the Meepo than Razor, and
Yeah, that's true.
Meepo is the pick that I don't think has a replacement. Whereas Razor, if you don't get Razor, I'm sure they could find another hero that can do well in the lane and play for the Meepo. You know?
Maybe they're just too afraid of the last pick of Aster. They think there's a hero that can still counter him and deal with him. But yeah, I agree with you. If they wanted to pick it, they could have picked it right now.
Oh, so anti-mage. I mean, it's a decent ban. AM is a good laning hero against Omni, and there's a Storm. And the Razor could go mid. So.
Yeah, so Aster is thinking that Razor is mid, so maybe that was the trick. Perhaps.
But you are saying that it's more likely a carry, right? Because Gipkey plays more of the unconventional hero, and Razor is kind of not his kind of
It's
hero.
not his style, yeah.
And Razor is like not the win condition hero, so I think it's most likely that Razor is going to be on the safe lane, the carry hero, and they're going to last pick a win condition hero.
I don't know, these faces look worried, they look
They're unsure.
distressed. If you're planning on last picking a Meepo, your face is like sneaky, your eyes are
Yeah.
all narrowed, and you're like, yeah, give me the Meepo.
They're looking like they're seeing a puzzle that they haven't yet solved.
Ah, there you go. It's the
Alright, it's
Meepo
still the
anyway.
Meepo.
I mean, it doesn't really make much sense, even though they still picked it. The sequence doesn't make sense.
Sequence doesn't make sense, but think about the Razor and the way Aster thinks about this Razor. They expect the Razor to perhaps go mid, right?
Yeah, but you're picking both at the same time, so it doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
And you're giving an opponent one more chance to ban.
One more chance. I definitely agree with you. I agree with you, but it is a mistake in the approach to the draft. Definitely, I agree with that. And they still have.
So they need a carry to
yeah.
counter the Meepo.
They can still counter it. So
Like
it's
what? With what? A Sven? Magnus carry? Like some splash damage?
Sven sounds alright, but you're playing into a Razor.
Oh yeah,
so
and
that's
it
a
sucks
problem
against
as well.
Razor. And he sucks against the Shadow Demon as
Like
well.
every kind of cleave hero, if you will, sucks against Razor, right?
That's true.
Because they're all gonna be melee, so.
Like you don't
It's
have
like-
way too many options here.
No.
Like, when it comes to you have your troll as well, which is kind of fine, but once that E-blade is up, he suffers too. You just have to play on tempo in that first troll.
Yeah, just pick something
Yeah.
that works with their
Yeah.
lineup rather than
Don't try
focusing
to.
too much on
Don't
the
try to
Meepo.
counter it. Just
Don't-
play your own strength.
Don't try to counter it. Play on your own strength. Play around that first Roshan. You have to take it away from Meepo.
What is SCCC's biggest strength hero then? As in not a strength hero, but like
Yeah.
best hero. What's his best hero?
I guess Sven could kind of work. And they go with the Sven.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go,
because
Sven.
there's the Omni Knight. The Omni Knight makes the Sven more like appealing because of how they work with each other.
You just have to worry about Razor, and for that, you
Buy,
have the
buy,
Storm,
buy
right,
Lincoln
or
Sphere,
something,
thank you
yeah.
very much. Bane, Rubik, get me some 4-stars.
Yeah.
Storm, jump on top of that Razor every single fight, even
No,
if
no,
you
no,
die.
jump on the Shadow Demon. Kill the Shadow Demon
Yeah,
first.
that as well. They do
So-
have a lot of kite though for Sven.
They do. Earlier in this conversation, you guys said Forze is not the strongest laning team. Do you feel like they are kind of having answers on the lane for this game round? Because I kind of feel like if they don't do well on the lanes, there is a chance Aster will run over them.
The only question is, will Aster try to dodge these lanes? Will they maybe put the Omni Knight versus the Mars? If they don't, I think it's an easy laning stage for Gipki and the boys.
All I care is what is Gipki playing. If he's playing his hero, I believe him.
And he's most likely playing Meepo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're believing
Yes,
in
of course.
also Gipki and the boys, as Lizard called it.
He's making me his
Fanboy?
new fan today.
And just to put it out there as well, before the draft even started, you guys would have said Aster as the favorite coming into this series, right?
Yeah.
But that changed now. Just because of Meepo pick. Is that the way? Just have as many cheese heroes as possible in your arsenal. Can't ban them all out.
When you're a new team and you have a new player such as Gipki, you need to have that because he's
Yeah.
a fresh face. He's like fresh face to the scene. He doesn't have a lot of experience, so you need to give him these heroes that can do a lot and that are usually hero spammer type.
Those heroes are heroes that allow you to win Dota by not even having good foundation of the game. Because those heroes are different. They
Alright.
make you play. They force the opponent to play in a different way.
All right, well, let's find out how Forze is going to force Aster into playing different. And head over to our commentary team of OD Pixel and Kyle.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, looking forward to this one. Indeed, I'm here with Kyle, ready to go for some Aster versus Forza. We've got a Meepo game, Kyle. Comes into that
ready?
last pick. Their response to Aster is the Sven. But overall, I got to feel like this is feeling like a pretty solid Meepo game. Is it a game? If this guy knows what he's doing, he should be able to run away with this win, right?
We could maybe say that. It's a big if, of course, but I do love the fact that they covered that Meepo with the Razor, right? Because the Sven is the true counter to this Meepo in the game, but if he gets linked up at the start of a fight, you're going to have some serious issues taking down Gipki, and I'm a big believer that Meepo is a broken hero. Even when there's counters, it's still, I think, super undervalued, and I would agree. I think Forza, you've got a great shot here.
Yeah. I mean, you say sort of, you know, Sven sort of, you really see it as overall a straight up counter to me, but I feel like this here, it needs items, right? There's a large portion of the game where sure you got a bit of cleave, but if you're not sort of an item or two ahead, chances are this Meepo is going to be avoiding you,
Yeah.
getting this E-Blade done, and suddenly by the time he's ready to go to fights where you're involved, you're never far enough ahead as a Sven,
The thing is, you can keep up, right? And then you hit
Sure,
a
you can
point
farm-
with, like,
yeah.
you know, the Mask Echo BKB build as an example, or
Okay.
the Mask SNY BKB, where then you can't Like, Meepo can't go toe-to-toe with you, and you need some hero that can challenge him. In addition, you have a Storm, you have an Omni Knight, you've got the team fight, right?
Yeah.
You can catch this Meepo, no problem. Only Shadow Demon is there for the save. I would say, I think Forza, they've got to win the game by 25 minutes. Not win, like get thrown, but rather have that definitive advantage. Because Aster into the late game, especially once those BKBs come online, starts to dominate.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Yeah. So 25, 30 minutes, you want to run them over as Forza. If it goes late, suddenly Sven's, this Storm's getting the chance to like reach level 25, Sven's 6 slotted, then Aster have definitely got that late game sort of potential. But yeah, you've got to imagine that Forza coming into this draft with that 5th pick Meepo have an exact plan with the high tempo they want to play at, and to make sure that Gibkey gets this solid start and gets to this mid-game position where Aster just aren't going to be prepared for this Meepo barreling down their lanes.
And we will see. It will come down to the lanes, as most games of Dota often do. Specifically looking at this mid matchup, Meepo versus Storm. Chuan has really impressed me, and I really think this Aster lineup, they're favored to win this event for a reason. I was talking to Fade upstairs earlier. He's definitely feeling good. The team is definitely taking this serious. Like, they're prepared.
Oh, dude,
they're ready.
this is the road to the major.
And it's funny because for Fade's perspective, right, he was here last year with Vici Gaming. They won the minor, and then they went on to win the major, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
he's been here before. He's like, yeah, it's like I'm coming home. Like,
he
they're
could be
excited.
that lucky charm, yeah. Good old Fade. Well, we'll see. I mean, definitely always an interesting test to see. You know, when you get these teams turn up, pick up a Meepo, and you know, then it's Aster's going to be pushed to their limits. They've got to play this game very sensible. There's no room for mistakes. If you mess up once or twice in the early game, this Meepo's going to run you over. So, no room for mistakes here from Aster in game 1.
This is fun. It was just funny because Fade was talking about how China, one of their issues is like they don't have too much new blood. I mean, got all these veterans, like they retire, they just come back and start playing, and he didn't realize I was talking about him. Oh. He's so cute, though. One of my favorite Chinese, really one of my favorite players in general, to be quite honest.
Excellent sense of humor.
Yeah. Oh, Vanscore? Ooh, this is interesting to both.
That should be all right with the level 1 spells they've got. Yeah, Chu doesn't want to chase this. Let's Bo3 walk it off.
And I like that he started with the stick as well, right? Because it's a Bane, so you're going to just trade, spam the Brain Sap, but you're going to get free stacks from Chu, who's going to continuously be spamming out that poison. Mars as well with the W spam, so it's a really nice item pick up here.
We are going to have the Bane TP over. Doesn't want to waste time. Bo can take the walk over. Needs to be by SCCC's side as soon as he can. And top lane, standard stuff to be done. XXS, he's going to grab the 30-second wave.
Yep.
We'll see if he wants to stick around and grab the minute one. Doesn't look like... Yeah, no, he is. He's just circling around. He's going to hover around, get the 2 waves, drag them all the way over to his half of the map to farm them up nice and safely.
And this is if you're a struggling offlaner. Oh, no, the courier. Got to be careful with that. But if you're a struggling offlaner, just keep in mind the rule is quite simple. For the most part, if you are countered by the enemy core, look to pull creeps and just effectively don't be an offlaner, but rather turn into the 4. And then that range support, as you can see, Fade under tower, just pressuring 19, making it difficult for him to last hit for free, and also not threatened at all really by this link.
No, absolutely not. Especially with the item build that Fade came into lane with. You see with this brown boots, they're expected to, do exactly this. Fade knew that you just had to be ready to break the distance, and that extra bit of movement speed certainly helps with that.
Yeah, and you see a lot of teams do this sometimes. They just kind of leave their offlaner on an island in an unfavorable matchup, and it's like, guys, like you're doing it wrong. Don't try to win this lane. You can't. Just make it not a lane anymore. And as we can see here, both players just going to be forced to farm under their tower, harassed by only his support. But mid is still probably...
Well, Tron's been doing an excellent job. He's been just shoving the waves in perfectly, and he's coming out a decent amount ahead, sort of a wave ahead of Gibkey. Obviously, things are likely to change now that Gibkey hits the 3. He's got the 2 Meepos. But yeah, definitely a solid start from Chuan on the first few waves.
Indeed, he gets the bottle too, and he'll get the rune.
I have that point in net to go for a bit of aggression. Chuan with a remnant down can make sure that Gibkey's not feeling strong enough to chase Chuan up to the high ground. So Chuan should still have a solid edge in this. In fact, he's going to go for the kill potential. Or just a bit of harass. Yep. Does take that point in the vortex at level 3, so he can play that little extra aggressive, force one of the Meepos to back up and spend a bit of time refueling. So he has another bit of a wave to play around with Gibkey when he's only having to deal with the 1 Meepo unit.
I like that build on the Storm. I think just, I mean, it's 60 mana for level 1 W, and whenever I see it that skipped, I do get frustrated because it's like the cheapest way to get an overload proc as well. So.
No, it really is. Yeah, I think it's sort of become standard to take it at the 4. At the 3 is a little earlier than normal, but can definitely set up for good situations where you are able to play that little bit more aggressive than potentially on its with the 2 points in the passive.
Bottom lane. Nice. Last hit by BZZ there gets the big creep. And bottom is actually going pretty well for this Mars lane. I would have expected the Sven Bane to do a bit better, but the pressure is just too much. I think this Mars hero is certainly underrated, especially with this new Rebuke first build.
Oh yeah.
Just spam harass with that Oob as well.
Yeah. Great harass and very easy to secure sort of like the whole wave of CS, even just at the early levels, as long as you set up the creeps correctly. And BZZ incredibly strong on his Mars on this offlane. So he knows exactly what's up and he's doing a great job with it. Top lane, CS for 19 team, what we're seeing, 16 for 5, so as expected, but maybe not as much free farm as you expect with the way that they set up that lane at the start with just the support in, just as it was. Fade being that Rubik, I mean, you mentioned it is annoying though, just being there in lane against this hero, constantly reducing your right click, it messes you up.
Razor's already got low right click damage. If you look at the builds, he didn't go for any Agi, he didn't start Wraithband items, so his damage was low. Plus, it's a Razor. Like, your damage is low. You need Link most of the time to help you with blast hitting, and he's just being pressured under tower. You're one of the worst heroes at dealing with that. And yeah, to your point, like, yeah, it's only 9 CS on the Omni, but it's the XP being equal that I think is more important, and the fact that you're slowing this Razor down while your Sven's game is still quite nice, and even getting better. First blood goes to Fade.
Already just seeing that 1K difference, where sort of being hovered around, but Aster, all things considered, this is the exact start that they want to hope for. You want to make sure that you have these, at least, you know, the levels coming in for all 3 of your cores to begin with, so that there's going to be less of a window for the Meepo to make those early moves around the 15-minute mark and abuse cores that had a really rough laning stage. As it is, Aster have done a good job of making sure they haven't left any gaps early on.
And the Batterins are going to spawn up. Oh, no, a cookie up to the high ground from Vanscore, so he should be able to steal this one. Indeed he is.
I guess they're just the 2 for 2, right?
Yeah,
2 for 2 there from the sides.
Yep, and look, Meepo has a sheep stick queued up first item. I'd be very shocked if that's what he goes for.
I mean, I'm up for seeing this. This is not what you're used to on a Meepo. I mean, sure, big item rushes, but you want your E-blades, you want a bit of stats. Yeah, sure, I guess it gives you stats, but it's very all in, right? You have to start making plays, looking for the pick-off. Hitting jungle creeps or just A-clicking down lanes. It's going to be a lot harder.
Get fun here. Fade, behind tower. Really well done. The pressure from the Storm forces one of the Meepos back, and then there's Fade out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is rough for the Meepo. This really is. I mean, sure, you know, he's up there, he's level with the net worth, but the fact that they're able to put this pressure on, give key early, get that sort of a kill, make sure that the Storm is not getting forced out of the lane. Chuan's getting a lot out of this. He's more than happy with the situation mid. You know, this is not sort of that smooth start for the Meepo. If you're dying in lane in the first, you know, before the 10-minute mark, problems are happening.
Yep, and part of that is just the side lanes are not going well for Forze. Their ideal scenario would have been Razor dominating top, and then left on an island against the Omni, and all of a sudden you're free to rotate around the map as the Snapfire, but you don't have that luxury necessarily, because 19, not really with a definitive lead up here, and Fade just doing a good job already with Arcanes. He's just going to keep spamming on him. And yeah, how do you last it? He has barely 40 damage on the Razor.
I mean, it's just, you know, Fade is, I think he's pretty much his best hero, if not one of the Rubik. He knows exactly how to be so annoying on it. As bottom lane, they do manage to get the pick off onto Bo3 getting in aggressive with the 3 of them. Fade TP's over, maybe sees if he can set up something in return as they drag back into the stun from SCCC, and Aster will be able to get the trade. Getting some more money going the way of SCCC's Sven. Standard build, of course, for him. Treads into the mask.
You look at this Aster team, you actually realize like how big these names are, right? They just added QQQ, famous ex-coach of LGD.
Yeah.
You add on to that Fade, you got SCCC Carry.
And then you got Bo3.
Yeah, like there's a lot of players here that have proven in the past they can perform at an S-tier level. Just a question of whether they can put it all together. So far, they dumpstered Boom and looking quite good here in this opening game. But still, it is a Meepo. And anything could happen. He has changed up his item build. Looks like he'll be going for the treads first. I expected that. There's no way you just rush
you got
no
at least
or something.
You've got to have some of those early stats. a Hex Rush. I mean, I'm still up for seeing it. I don't know if it's any good if he goes for it after the treads. He may have just been sort of messing as the E-Blade or even the Blink is more preferable. E-Blade for sure, you know, that's kind of what you want to see on your Meepo coming out nice and quickly. Especially against, you know, sort of having some sort of protection for heroes that are gone on by this Sven when SCCC does get involved in the action. This Sven is, you know, I said he has to have a fair few items in him to be in a good part, and at the beginning of this game's gone very nicely for him. Back towards mid, do you see the supports facing off against one another? Chu hanging around to make sure that Gibkey does have this sort of safe space around the camps around mid without the Warrior Fade getting in behind the tower and nuking down one of the Meepos if they do happen to get low to the jungling.
Chu's in trouble.
And I'm going to go for, Chu instead. I said, well, we don't need to get Gibkey. We'll go for you instead, but there's backup. They're able to get him with the cookie. Van's caught. Everyone's turning up from Forze. They drop down the arena. Chuan is going to have enough mana to get out. Fade will be left behind. There's enough for one further zip, and Chuan will be fine. Arcane Rune popped as well, so
that was a miscue there from Forze, but excellent play from Fade. He actually ensures that he'll be the one that takes the spear to the face, so he dies, and then there's no follow-up net. They were trying not to overlap, and that's just a miscue there. You have to be precast, like you've got to land the net on the Storm as he comes out of the Disrupt, but really well done there by Fade to save his core.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's one of those plays where, you know, sure, it's like, oh, Forze, they get a kill, but that's your whole team coming in on mid. You're onto the side lanes, XXS, SCCC, they weren't coming mid. They were staying there. They were soaking up creep waves, pushing it in. So, you know, support kill is not exactly what Forze were hoping for there. They needed something bigger. They didn't get it. Chuan with more than enough mana to play his way out of it.
And now you got SCCC, max out cleave, and the Mask of Madness. This is what I love to see on the
Gibkey showing mid, but now they're prepared to go on to the Meepo. There's 4 heroes here. They collapse straight upon him. Gibkey stepped forward, and he stepped forward to his death as Aster punish him. Gibkey, I mean, it's sure, it's only the second death, but 2 deaths at this sort of portion of the game as a Meepo, it does not feel good at all.
Oh, neither does this BCC.
Yeah, it's got the spear, but Bo3 and Fade, they're going to try and maybe see if they can cut him off from the river. Don't know if they'll quite have the reach, though. They shouldn't by the looks of it. Oh, they will with Chuan coming in. Chuan, he'll be there to catch him out. And you're seeing it already. Like, the movements from Aster, it's only 10 minutes in, but I feel like you're feeling a difference already. Yep,
for sure. They're just playing crisper, right? It just... nothing really lost, it feels. To make moves, you've got to, they're not going to give you freebies. That's what it comes down to. Even up top, Omni, as this all happens, XXS just camping behind tower with his phase boots ready. You can't really make a move on him, and look at this, they're continuing for more.
Yeah, Chuan just playing so aggressively. TP will come through, but not soon enough before he's able to easily zip back to safety. The moves, I mean, top, they're trying to go in. Vanscourt, he takes a huge amount of damage with the Purification. He just straight up dies. They were hunting around the tower to... I don't know what they were trying to do. I think they were trying to go for this Omni Knight, but that is not a kill that these 2 heroes can get alone. They'll find Fade. Well, will they? Spears off the mark. Fade with the stolen cookie jumps out. Swallows the cookie. Out of the arena he goes. Fade just styling on these kids.
DD now on Storm. This is a definite freebie. Make sure he doesn't have a Roche.
Oh, Fade will make sure that does not happen. Fade bolt to the back. I mean, Fade, he's 4-1 of 3 at the moment on his Rubik. A fantastic KDA 11 minutes in, involved of 7 of these 8 kills that Aster has had. It's just, I mean, I'm saying the team's move, maybe it's just sort of Fade. You know, this guy, he is everywhere.
Look at the way that game was set up, right? We see this from Secret a lot as well, where, you know, your off-laner is going to get screwed. So what do? You help him. Omni not forced to stay up here on an island. Fade has gotten so much space because of this. He's the one laning against this Razor for a few minutes in this game. He's over-leveled. When you get Arcanes, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, Rubik becomes this incredibly, almost overpowered hero. And also to note, I love that Baboka got that 1 point in Feeble, 15% more stun duration just on anybody he's auto-attacking when you consider his draft. They have both of the supports, the only heroes in Dota that can create stuns that last longer than they should.
Oh yeah, they have insane amount of single target control. And it's just very good at punishing these teams that, you know, Aster feels that they confidently, they're going to be able to outmaneuver. They are going to find situations where they are going on a hero that has no sort of save potential behind it. And that's what we're seeing. Space is there for Aster now, pushing on top. I mean, as I say, Gibkey's game has been entirely messed up and slowed down. It's a very hard sort of game for him to play now as this Meepo. His team, they're 4K behind. He's 2k gold towards his first item, but you're seeing it already, the difference between him and SCCC. SCCC's already got those first 2 major items, the Mask of Madness, the Crystallis. He's 1,000 gold ahead.
Yeah.
He's going to be taking this tower soon to hit level 12. It is at the point now where SCCC will turn up to the fight, and you're right, he's going to counter the Meepo right now. This Meepo's got nothing on it.
It's a really good point, and we just saw this in that previous series from GPK, right? And it's something I feel like we should give more credit to. This idea that popular items sort of dictate popular heroes, and I think this Crystallis is one of those that is just too good.
It's bringing Sven back.
And you think of heroes that utilize it well, such as Ember, such as Sven. You're like, oh, maybe this does work, because all of a sudden they're hitting a timing that makes them good, right?
Yeah.
Because it's suddenly, as you said, it's what, 13 minutes into the game?
And this guy's terrifying.
And not just that, he can farm without taking damage. So at all times, SCC is on map, either hitting creep waves, towers, heroes, it doesn't matter. He's getting stuff done. And that is huge for a hero like Sven. It's just way more efficient than, say, the Echo Saber as an example, in terms of raw DPS output. And now, yeah, you've got all these Dire heroes in the Radiant jungle. They're going to smoke up as well, but they have a ward. They knew this is coming. Nice ward plays. That was just put down by Baboko on the high ground as they see this coming. You can see them, hey, let's roll out. We got wards up here. We got a high ground. Let's go camp by our mango tree, babes.
I mean, Gibkey at least is keeping some of the Meepos down bottom. He's going to bring them back and over and start to push out mid. Still yet to see what he is going to invest in. He didn't re-queue up the Hex, so I've got to imagine he is going to pick up that Eagle Song and just go the more standard E-Blade Brute.
We'll see, but you know, it's a 0-2-1 Meepo. Is this, you really supposed to be smoking and fighting with him?
I mean, well, he's got some of the Meepos farming, you know. It's not like he's got all 3 of them in the smoke. He is still
what I mean is,
pushing waves and getting them in the camps.
When do you see Meepos look for fights? Because typically it's not when they just have treads and 3 Wraith Bands.
I mean, that's very well you're saying. What's the point in even just bringing 1 if he's got 3,200 gold he's yet to invest?
Yes. Yeah. It's just not.
I think they're just feeling a bit desperate right now, Forza. They know that this game it's not going to get any easier. To sort of have this deficit, this lead that Aster has against them at just 15 minutes in a 5k advantage with their lineup, it's so hard for Forza's heroes to play into these cores.
And I love Chuan. He's went for the Kaya, but he's actually going to go for the Orchid instead of the Bloodstone Rush, because you look at this, if you can hunt that Shadow Demon, right, there's no save anymore, and the rest of your team can go on whoever the hell they want. Sven, this SCCC, a couple crits, just going to kill him. So you get 2 for the price of 1, as long as the Storm's able to find the save in the back line. And still with that regen bottled, so like again, you have Storm and Sven, they're just always on map, always farming. And it just doesn't feel like Forza has that tempo that they're looking for out of their Meepo. He's gonna have his Eagle Song in a sec, there's the E-Blade, but will that be enough to equalize?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it might buy sort of a bit of time, a bit of safety on one of the targets that gets gone on. But again, the beauty of Sven, right? You just turn to another and just look to use the cleave to hit heroes down. And even when one hero is going to be saved for a bit of time with the Ghost Form from that source of damage, it's not really going to be long enough for you to have any chance of killing the Sven, especially when it's backed up by these sort of heroes. You know, XXS on the Omni Knight is always going to be by there, by SCCC's side, just buffing up this quarter. Incredible potential at just 16 minutes in. And Gibkey, he comes forward. Aster's there with a wraparound. Can they save their Meepo? Defensive disruption will come out. XXS on the front lines. 19 team's going to step forward, but the Fiend Script is there from the high ground. But Boca locking down the Razor. Gibkey's trying to run, but he cannot get out of it. Chuan's up to the high ground. They've lost 3. It's a triple kill for SCCC, and the fight, it's not over yet. SCCC and Chuan are coming over to clean up the rest of them. Here comes the cleaves. Ultra kill. This man at 16 minutes. He's looking for the rampage. You'll get it off the hell there. 5 heroes down on Forza. This game, I think it might be time to write this one up and done. This is 16 minutes in. Sven's just turned up. SCCC getting a rampage.
Yeah. This is the scariest hero in Dota to be ahead like this, because it doesn't matter if you have Ray. I don't care what heroes you have. If Sven's hitting you with ult up, he's killing you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Your only hope is to run. Yeah, he is effectively a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I don't care what they say in the movies. You're not going to beat him.
Oh, and now he's got an Imp Claw as well.
Great.
I mean, extra plus 24 damage. Extra, starting off with a guaranteed crit every now and then, a few seconds.
Yep, the Sanyasha,
very nice,
he's like nigh unkiteable now.
I mean, yeah, this guy's a beast now, 17 minutes. Oh, no, the cheeky little ancient stack on the way.
No worries. It's all the little things, right? It just feels like it's all going Aster's way, but it's just a very complete team, and they know what they're doing. They've got experience, They took a little break before the qualifiers, I was being told by Fade, which is partly why they blame being here at the minor instead of already boot camping in LA for the major. But, you know, they're finding their form. They're certainly warmed up now. And so far, so good. Another smoke up from
trying
Forze.
for this mid. BZZ smoke will end as Fade's in position, does dispel it. They're going to step forward, try and go in on the Rubik. They do get the stun off. There's SEC throws the stun back. Fade will fall for this. Arena used, but no further kills to be found. Only the Rubik. Still though, Forza, they'll take what they can get in this position. See if they can find anything more off the back of this. Again, this is obviously their full 5-man that they are having to sweep around the map with to find these sort of pickoffs. And still, it's just not the cause. You see Chuan yet to die this game. Only the 1 death on XXS, and of course SCCC, a very clean scoreboard too. 7-0 and 2 on his KDA. They just cannot deal with or find the cause of Aster. Aster, they're just playing a little too smartly.
And it's just, again, kind of comes down to this concept of they're not on a clock and they're getting more off the map on a minute-by-minute basis. This is a great position to be in because you're not forced to do anything. You can luxuriously choose your moves. Like this one up top.
Finding pickoffs where he wants now. BZZ will try and slide it out of there, but he's gone.
Yes.
Fade doesn't want to mess around, takes that kill, another one to his tally. Of course, as Fade continues to rack up those kills and assists. Can they find SCCC? They have got the ult up, and they've got the control with the nets. They're holding him at a range that Vansko can get a huge amount of damage done.
The big deal there was the E-Blade, which means for a few seconds, Sven can't attack. One of the few answers to him. Of course, the BKB that he's got queued up will be able to prevent that.
But I mean, that biggest kill they found this game.
Oh, for sure.
Getting SCCC there in that sort of position. SCCC just a little too confident with the start. A hell of a lot of money. Obviously, Gibkey would have loved that. But Vansko, he's going to be the one to take it. Takes an 1,144 gold bonus, of course, for finally ending the reign of SCCC in this game.
And the Orchid complete on Chuan. So all of a sudden, this game for Chu rather, it gets much harder. He is almost certainly going to be that initial target at all times. Even Vanscore's got to be cautious. He could jump on with 5 armor.
That's why not going for Roche. They've got a solid line, having the Meepo with the E-Blade, a lot of agi, a lot of stats, a lot of right click. You can do this safely and solidly, tanking it up between the units. And not something that Aster are going to be prepared to contest by the looks of it. SCCC's back in the game, but it's too late. Roshan falls, and Forza see an opportunity to make this great move. Grab that Aegis. And now they have got a little thing extra to fight with. Definitely, as you say, at the timer that you could consider something they can work around once more is, again, looking towards that BKB from SCCC. They're going to see the Ogre Club. They're going to know that with the farming speed that he's been playing at, it's coming very shortly. Yep. Ideally, they want to make a play before he has that done. They do also have Blink on BZZ, so they've got good ways to start off the action, try and separate a hero from the rest of the fight without having to walk in and drop arena necessarily, as they have been having to do so to just kill some of the supports. Yep.
That's a quick minor detail, but I love watching SCCC just because he does all the little things. When he's walking through the jungle, he's often on strength treads, but when he's actually right-clicking creeps like he is now, he's on agi treads. Even though it doesn't give you the damage, you have plenty. It's the attack speed that becomes more valuable. It's one of only like 3 or 4 heroes in Dota. Tiny is another one, notably, that should always be farming on agi.
Magnus, I'd say.
At a certain point, I think so.
Really? Oh no, my terror. I look farming on agi. It just feels good because you've got to imagine if you're doing the math. Sure, you're doing bigger numbers with the strength, but the frequency of the numbers is better with agi.
Yes.
So it's likely that you're not going to need that extra hit. That's going to take a bit more time if you're cutting down these heroes in smaller chunks.
It's just little things. Yeah. It shows me that this person is dedicated
to
being
win.
Perfect.
He's doing everything.
Exactly. And it's these little things that I feel like it doesn't necessarily, I don't know how to phrase it necessarily, but it doesn't like, oh, this is amazing, everyone should be doing this. It's more that, okay, this little 1 to 2% efficiency is probably being sought after in every element and area of this player's game. Not just things like, oh, I want to be a better lane or mid. Bottom lane, Meatbo has the Aegis, so you can look to pressure that tower. All 4 up and running. And that will be a free tier 2. Aster on the back foot.
Yeah, Forza are starting to really make the game slow down to a point. You know, as we felt, with the draft, I think it's going to be hard for them to continue to turn it necessarily, but they're holding it at a very nice position that's allowing Gibkey to get his next time done after the E-Blade. his farm, you know, still sure it's being dwarfed by that of SECC's, but he's holding up there. We'll see in the mid lane a bit of an attempt as they jump in with the arena. They'll focus towards the Rubik. Rubik falls. They've taken out Fade. Can they get more? SECC in the middle of it all. Chuan trying to slow them down with the burst from the Remnants. They'll look to chase down this Meepo, but SECC, the BKB wears off. He's going to look towards the easier kills. Fiend Script there onto BZZ, locks him down. Zip forward with the silence. They're trying to get on Vanscore, but Vanscore, he's got enough backup. They don't want to commit anymore, as it's a 1-for-1. Yep. You know, again, Forze definitely giving it some short in the trade. They're losing a core for a support, but they are fighting back, and they are making Aster work for it now. Despite Aster getting such a solid lead early on, Aster aren't necessarily as making as fluid of moves as they were in the early game.
Yeah, a big part of it is also, though, that the Sven damage is not really online yet. That Sanjin Yash item, it's nice for the luxury, but it's really just not really damage. You see Meepo with that E-Blade, 23 armor per clone.
Gibkey did stick around to take this. Can they take him down the twice? They'll get him the once.
No BKB.
Can they go again, though? SECC backing away. Still got a good amount of HP and mana to work with. They'll try for Vanscore, but Chuan's got to play it safe. His mana's low. Will zip back to safety. Knows he cannot commit for this, so he's taking the Aegis away. This may dissuade Forze from going for further objectives for a little bit of time, but...
Yeah, the Scotty up on the Meepo as well. So yeah, Sven really, even with that BKB, he's smacking him, but just not any damage output. And with no BKB, he's got to be very cautious.
Yeah. Without the God Strength, he's not going to do enough damage. I mean, sure, yeah, I guess at the start of that last fight we did see that. Gibkey was able to kite him out very nicely.
66% physical resist on this Meepo.
And they do have to throw a lot onto him. As, you know, Gibkey at this stage, he is tanky. And if Forze can fight around him and BZZ's able to get him with these arenas, really disrupt the fights and stop Aster from being able to start with a quick pick, then things can go Forze's way. They continue to slow down any sort of momentum that Aster were building up earlier. Sure, it's a 3K lead, but it's a lead that's only getting smaller with each play and each move that Forze's making. As Forze, they're going to go straight back in with the smoke. BKB pop from 19. He's forcing Baboka off the side. Tron goes for the backlines. They will be able to find the Shadow Demon, quickly move over to Vanscore on the Snapfire. So they take the two supports out. Gibkey and BZZ, they're still going to be good to fight. BKB pop by SECC. He's moving in, but indeed the Link's going to slow things down. They're trying to kill off 19. They had to back off, make sure that the Link breaks. He's lost a bit of his damage, but he's still got a good amount to fight with. Silence onto BZZ. They get themselves the triple kill, and with this in mind, Aster, they're not ready to stop anytime soon. They're going to continue to chase. He tries to poof away. They have the stun into the lift. A further bit of control with the pullback. Do they have the damage, though? Gibkey, he's turning. The rest of the Meepo army is just killing off SCCC as Gibkey. He's going to be ready to go for more. Chuan, he's out of mana. The Storm, he's out of luck. He's dead too. Gibkey turning the fight around. Tried to TP out. There's a buyback from SCCC. He's really doing his best to kill this Meepo.
So
he hasn't got the damage. He hasn't. And SCCC, he falls low. Baboka is there with the Fiend Script. They need to get this Sven back in, but the Nightmare is actually ending like too long. Gibkey's just killing off the heroes as he can. He comes back over. SCCC is trying for this, but the E-Blade Gibkey, he's able to separate the Meepo, gets him back to safety. They're chasing. Can they kill this Meepo? Another route out. Vanscore, the cookie to provide the protection of the space as he cookies himself forward into the front lines and buys the space for Gibkey to get out.
Holy shit, he played. I've never seen Owen almost go out of breath. And those people, he's still alive.
I mean, Gibkey, where was this Meepo play earlier?
Yeah,
at the start, it was like, he's mastered the hero now.
That honestly was I've seen a lot of Meepos that straight up just win games because their efficiency, right? They farm jungle faster, they get ahead, they spam a combo, they won the game. That was some of the most impressive in-fight micro I've ever seen. That was nuts.
He's killing off these supports, you know, he's separating, preparing himself for the buyback.
With nets, the E-Blade defensively. That was
very nice from Gibkey.
I cannot believe that they're actually coming back into this. Like I'm saying, there's no hope for them in the late game. There's no chance. We've seen Meepo lose so many games in these sort of spots, but he came back from like a 4K net worth disadvantage to now be up by 1,000.
I mean, this is just sort of Meepo in a different way. I mean, you said it. So the top Meepos that you sort of see from other teams, they're 5K ahead at 15 minutes in.
Yeah,
they're cleaning up the map. They know the routes and the farming patterns. Gibkey's game, to be fair to him, it was slowed down, right? He dies 2 times in the laning stage. It's not going to be easy to recover. But he's making the moves, dancing around Aster. And if he can continue to do that, you know, this game, this is looking rough and rough for Aster. Aster's, they're losing this lead.
I love that item pickup too. A halberd on the Meepo. Not just for the evasion, but for the aggro disarm on the Sven. If you can disarm SCCC before his BKB, like, you might just straight up win a fight off that.
Now,
and you have the E-Blade defensively too, so 2 different tools he can save himself with.
And also, we'll see in mid if anything's going to happen here, Fade. No, he's going to be fine. Now, because Dota's a weird game and we don't really know how everything works, theoretically, the 30% self-HP regen and lifesteal amp probably should buff the lifesteal from your passive, the ransack.
Correct. Definitely, yes.
At least only on the main meepo, I guess. So it doesn't really matter too much. But if it does work, you're going to have one meepo that's going to be, you know, healing up a real treat. But of course, it says it's health steal. It's a weird mechanic, so maybe it doesn't actually get buffed up like that on even just the main meepo. And if it did get buffed up on any, it would only be the main meepo. But we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that. See if you see one meepo just consistently staying at full HP. As long as he's hitting away.
I love Dota for that. There's just things you just don't know, and in
Yeah,
truth,
it's like health steal. Is health steal life steal? Well, you know, depends which dev you ask, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's doing the patch update that day? Yeah, we'll make that interaction, but no, that doesn't work. Different word.
Sven, you got that. Daedalus complete. The damage could potentially be overwhelming now for this meet, but you got to be real quick.
Yeah, with the DD. Oh, no, it's gone. All right, did you say it? No, it's not got DD.
Get a haste.
A haste, okay.
And the courier, they know they're there.
I mean, Aster's scared now. They're scared of this meepo. They know Gipkey, he's got the plays, he's got the moves. They got to respect this meepo. BZZ.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I say not BZZ. Well, BZZ, he's dying here. That's not going to be a good start to the fight now. Aster, can they go for one? Does Gipkey want to join this? That's the question. Vanscore's trying to split from the back with the fire. They jump over Chuan, able to put a stop to the Mortimer's kisses. They'll move over onto him. No hope for the Snapfire, but now Gipkey turns up. The GA's going to be out. BKB popped by SCCC. They've got to get rid of this meepo. They get him pushed to the tree, Fade with the stolen spear, stuns him up, and that should be enough to kill him. Or is it Gipkey? He's still alive. Finally, he falls. They kill the meepo, and now Aster, they can look to smoothly clean up the rest. Up to the high ground they go. They catch out 19-teen as well. This time, they do it. And Fade, I mean, he's obviously this spear, you've got to respect that stun duration, right, amped up by the passive. It's a huge disable if they do get that connection.
That was just a straight up outplay. Oh, and I mean, you bait out the Mars ulti, SCCC not only kills them, but doesn't have to use the BKB. Then they can continue to chase the Razor. Then they go for the meepo. It was the ideal fight as they're killing Mars. Well, the Storm went in the backline. He prevented the meepo counter initiation and the SD from trying to enter. And you get free Aegis as well.
Yeah,
you can't ask for more. Orbit Destruction on the Sven there, paying off too, arguably the best item he could have picked up here with those tier 3 drops.
Yeah. No, Tron every single time has been very, very good with his positioning. He's always going for Vanscore, Chu on the back lines. Instantly, you know, it's one of the best ways to deal with the Snapfire, having this hero that has this same ability. Each time you see the kisses come out, you're never going to get a very long duration of the Snapfire ultimate out as long as Twan's ready to get on top of them. And there's not really a lot of counters to do, you know, to sort of against that. Well, Vanscore gets the BKB, that's kind of it. Every single other time, you know, he's going to be Vortex, and that high damage ult is going to be put to an end. Aster able to get a bit back of a control of this one, and well, it's not quite stopped yet, as they're still split up a little bit. Forze trying to come out. Chuan, he's falling low on the mana. Chu with the disruption will hold back the storm, allow BCG to get out. SCCC's in with the wraparound. They traps Chu by the trees. Takes down the second support. Force, they're going to try and fight back. They'll look to get the spear connection onto the wall. They'll find it. They'll find XXS. The rest of the side of Aster are already backing away. They know that Gipkey's out and he's hungry. Gipkey, see if he can find anyone, but no, Aster a little too speedy. They'll get everybody else out of there.
Yeah. The thing is, though, the big beacon of hope here for Forza is that BKB on Sven is only at 7 seconds
It's going down.
Lower and lower. And if you can just survive, thanks to an E-Blade, thanks to a Disarm, anything you can do to kite that Sven. I love the fact that this SD ultimate's consistently being used on him as well, and you just kite. Now, the game sort of equalizes a little bit. It's the Storm, actually, I think that becomes the biggest issue for Forza to deal with. Because the Sven, yeah, sure, he's going to be doing damage, but you have ways of kiting him, of preventing him from getting on top, staying on top of your heroes, rather.
Yeah.
And the Razor Link also is going to become more valuable. You're going to have a Shiva's in a second. This is still looking like anybody's game.
No, it really is. It really is. You know, I feel like going back, Aster's sort of going to be kicking themselves, saying, you know, how were we not able to do more with that very early lead? You know, 16 minutes in, this Sven's getting a rampage, but now we're at 32 minutes into the game. For example, Forza map control, they still have all of their tier 2 towers. Aster weren't able to take that much away from them on the map in that sense. Sure, overall, they're getting back control and a hold of these fights. They're starting to find these pickoffs once more. Forze are getting a little lax with the way that they head out onto the map. These supports, we're seeing Chu, Vanscore dying every now and then here as things are getting broken up. I mean, they're just trying to make space right now, I guess, for Gibkey to get that next item. You mentioned it. They know the BKB is low. They get that Hex done as well, and suddenly there really is that additional element of control that's going to be very hard for the cause and even Twan as well to play.
It's more the supports is the problem. I feel like these Aster heroes, like there's no pressure on this Rubik as an example, whereas Twan, he's threatening both supports at all times. There's no real reach advantage on this Forza lineup because anybody that overextends can just get punished hard by SCCC. So you kind of always are having to play this evasive, like kiting game against the Sven, which allows these Aster supports to play far more forwards than they would have to if they were playing up against this Ember, a Spectre, a Slark, a Storm. And now Aster, they have a TD bottled on Sven. Good gracious, he might just straight up walk high ground here. He won't though. They're gonna smoke instead. They want to fight.
TD on Sven, the new BKB on Twan.
He just finished a butterfly. Another reason this Mask of Madness built, this another item that, like we see it on Lone Druid, right? It's just kind of too good for the cost. All of these items that just kind of give more than their components, their value. And you can split it into Butterfly Satanic, which is exactly what SCCC is going to do.
See down bottom, again, support shows, support dies. Twan finds out Vanscore trying to get the side push on. And look at the build as well, Gibkey. So he's, instead of going for the Hex, he is going for the second E-Blade. And I like this as well. I like it because I feel that they don't necessarily need to Hex the Sven, right? As long as he's disarmed, they've got like the Skadi, the Shiva's Guard. They've got ways to slow him down, you know, ruin his sort of attack speed. As long as Gibkey's sort of got this insane amount of agi and right-click, he will just lifesteal for a lot of the damage output that Aster's doing to him. As long as he can keep his Meepos on targets, it works out. I like, you're giving it up. You don't like this decision.
I'm not a huge fan. I don't think you're going to win with just going stat for stat and trying to go tit for tat with the Sven. It's just not going to work. Okay. You need to get pickoffs, and what's missing from your lineup right now, that's the tool, right? The catch, the sort of lockdown that allows the damage output to come out. I just don't see them. I don't see the Meepo being able to find kills. If these didn't share cooldowns, I'd be all about the double.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. That would be pretty busted. But I mean, I'm just saying, you know, you've got to watch these fights. If they don't successfully burst the Meepo down, he will just like go from 0 to 100 HP. You know, if he's just allowed to punch away. With the amount of agi that he's going to be sporting, you know, obviously with those 2 E-Blades.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you that. Again, the other thing to bring up is that XXS has done a great job of canceling either Mars Arena or the Meepo initiation with this GA. Yeah. And there's no real counterplay for this whatsoever, with the exception of the SD Purge, who primarily has to use it on SCCC just to slow down his rate of killing allies, which is a big problem right now for Forza. Although 29-16, only an 8K gold lead. No ages to worry about any longer as well. So, still could be anybody's game.
Tons of smoke. Forza, they know they're strong with these E-Blades. But it is, it's, you know, in some of these big items. You know, the BKBs both ready to pop. Cheese as well. You know, obviously one of the other reasons that Butterfly being very good, the evasion very effective against a hero like Meepo, who just is never going to have some sort of true strike potential. Sure, maybe you could argue Bloodthorn, but it sounds like a pretty awful item on a Meepo. Indeed. You don't want to be buying that.
And I like that he chose to go for the Butterfly himself instead of something like an MKB. I think a more inexperienced carry would be like, oh no, he's got evasion, I want to be able to hit him. But in reality, you're better off just sort of advancing in your own survivability, because you're now certainly going to be able to go toe-to-toe, even if you might miss a couple of attacks. Who cares? Plus, it's more efficient because, as we discussed, the Mask of Madness can be split.
I don't know. I'll be interested to see. With this armor and this agi and right click, I mean, does he really still just cut through the Meepo, you think? I feel like we're going to see him turn up and this Meepo's not going to melt. Maybe my sort of read's totally wrong. Meepo's just still going to shred because it's just that much damage on the Sven.
It's not going to be butter in a microwave. No. If you leave it out on the counter long enough, it still melts.
Oh, see down bottom, SCCC is going to get jumped on. Does have that Heavenly Grace buff. He's going to immediately pop the God Strength, but he's already being linked. And 19 able to start this fight in an excellent fashion. SCCC just has to TP out. He has to get away. He cannot fight with this. And this is, you know, a good 100 seconds where they don't have to worry about the God Strength. They can make plays, and without God Strength, he's, you know, this knife ain't cutting any butter.
Yeah, good point. But I still want to just point out, I love the fact like he pops God Strength, attack. This was literally just to buy space because his team's calling for the out. That saves his Omni Knight.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden he's TPing to the side. You're still looking at
Look at
the
this
Sven.
move
These
from
little
Forze.
things, man.
Yeah, I love this. Straight over that half
No
of the map.
BKB.
They're hunting. They know that they're going to be staying out on the map, Aster.
Got Blink Arena, but they don't have vision. The ward placed by Radiant instead, just a little slow.
Yeah, they can't make the dive blindly into that Aster, as you say. They do still manage to back away. They know this is going to be coming in from Forze.
Oh, they're going straight for the Meepo. He's under a ward. Aster's still controlling the vision. He's got to be so careful here. He's completely isolated.
Can they? Yeah, they're not going to be able to catch one of those Meepos in time. He's far enough away. Money's racking up. I wonder if he goes all the way of the triple E-blades. I wouldn't be opposed. Maybe now he goes for the H.
Double Scotty and double E-blade.
Now, double Scotty sounds awful. if you're doubling up any item, it's definitely not the Scotty. But if you're tripling something, triple E-blade, I'm down.
As the player who invented the quadruple Battle Fury, Owen, I'm not surprised. But
That's true. Yes.
how many games did you win with that again?
Well, I won. Sometimes the games you lose aren't necessarily losses. I feel they were still wins in my heart. You know. And my teammates would disagree. They were quite
It's
verbally.
not about winning, right? It's only a game. Just have fun.
I want to see him spend this money. He's got 5,400 gold. Come on, Gibkey, get yourself to the shop. Get yourself something nice and shiny, nice and new, whether it's going to be another E-blade or whether it's going to be the Hex, if you do want to go back for it now. I mean, at this point, both would be fine, both would work. Top lane fade. He's going to start things off here as he's able to grab one of the Meepos. The rest have already jumped out. The Fiend's they've got a lot of lockdown. This Meepo, he needs help and he needs it now, but he's not going to get it. Gibkey, he's gone. They kill him off. The Meepo's down. Snapfire trying to come in from the side with the ult. They'll be able to push this Mars back. Chuan with the Rangers BKB still trying to fight this. Forze, they're charging in, but this Razor's just getting ripped apart. They separate him in time though. The cookie save doesn't matter. Fades in with a Fade Bolt, and they take down 2 of the cores. Both of them buying back. 90. We'll see what they do with this buyback. They don't have the full squad as Shadow Demon is yet to use his own buyback. Chu's going to be sitting at the sidelines for 35 seconds.
Yep.
But these buybacks, I mean, Roshan is up. That's almost certainly the reason why they are buying back. They want to make sure that Aster doesn't win the team fight, get the Rosh as well.
And 2 things to note. The Storm plus far superior warding provides this massive vision advantage for Aster. Plus, this Bane of Boca has been carrying a gem for the last 15 minutes. Where's the dire vision, right? You're taking these fights around high ground wards placed by Aster. You're never, you don't have the initiation. Storm does, and he's got the information. It's never going to turn out well for you. And they kill off Meeple before the fight even begins. As you said, the buybacks sort of just...
I mean, it makes sense to think about the Rosh. Now, because otherwise Aster, they would have just headed straight in. Now, Forze can go for it. They know that there's no God Strength for 35 seconds. Oh, Gibkey nearly gets clipped to the cliff here. SCCC heads in. He's going to jump forward. They're looking to kill off this Razor. This would be a dieback. Razor needs help. I don't think he's going to get it. He's trying to run away, but SCCC is committed with a BKB. Has he got the damage, though? He's getting linked up. The damage is not enough. Chuan comes in with the side. He's focusing team, trying to get rid of the Razor, and will take him out. 19 team dead for 2 minutes. Gibkey's got to be careful. They cannot afford to lose the Meepo as well. But Fade, again, beautiful spear. Clips him to the tree. They're onto the Meepo. Gibkey tries to save himself with a self-E blade. He's disrupted as well, but the rest of the Meepos are falling. Gibkey dead as well on the sidelines. 2 minutes. Aster, they get the huge kills, and with that they can take what they want. They're going to be able to take the game. It's called 2 cores down for 2 minutes. There's no way that Forze can stop any sort of push that would come in. They GG it out, and Aster, they'll take this game. A bit of back and forth, not necessarily the cleanest from them, but they are able to beat that 10th pick Meepo at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. Love it. This team looks fantastic. Each player looking like they just had ways of shining, and man, it just... In general, I think this team really playing like the favorites they were coming into the event. SCCC and Fade, to me, the big stand-up performers, notably Fade. A lot of Fade bolt kill steals, but always seem to be right place, right time, just setting things up. Solid performances from all of these players, and you can see the staff behind them, just keeping them focused. This team smiling, but not satisfied. They're not here to win this series. No. They want the event.
Exactly. And this game, it had its ups and downs for Aster. Obviously, overall, you know, you're still seeing this incredible KDA, but so the whole game sense, the fact that the Gibkey on the Meepo was able to mess with them a little bit. He didn't have a stellar start on the Meepo, but there was still that mid-game where they were closing that sort of advantage that Aster had. And that's not something that a team like Aster's going to be wanting to allow these teams to get against them.
I mean, the individual skills there, right? We were very impressed with that Meepo performance. I just feel like the side lanes going as they did kind of put them on the back foot. To your point, the Meepo also with just a really poor start. I want to see them without these 2 when both of my supports sort of accomplish the same thing, I just feel bad. I feel like these CIS teams specifically are going to do a lot better if their 4 position can be more active. Chu on a Shadow Demon? Like, come on, give this guy something that can go kill stuff instead of just try and desperately peel for a few seconds that end up not giving his allies any real respite.
No, I mean, yeah, we've seen him on some great playmakers earlier. I believe it's Shaker earlier today. Had an excellent game. So maybe they will change it up. They tried the Meepo strat here. Didn't work out, so they're going to have to come in with something different against Aster in Game 2. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Aster take the lead at the moment in this best of 3. We'll be back after the break for more.
That is Aster taking the first game against Forze here in the upper bracket finals for Group A of the StarLadder TV Minor. I'm here with Lizard, I'm here with Winter, and we are gonna break that first game down. We started off this game saying lanes should go well for Forze, and then they should win in 25 minutes. Starts out that the lanes did not go too well for Forze Lizard.
Yeah, the lanes didn't go well at all. They had, I believe they did have the desired matchup with the Razor on that safe lane that they planted him on, but Meepo really struggled in the mid lane. I think that's probably their biggest issue there. Meepo got rotated on, he died to Storm, then they continuously dove him under the tier 1, under the tier 2. And when you slow him down so hard before minute 10, before he gets that level 10, it really cripples the hero. And what you want to do with him, you want to get that level 10 as soon as possible so that you can farm fast. He was never able to get it, at least not in those first 10 minutes.
No, it was a rough game for Forze Winter.
Well, thank you, resident Meepo spammer. I think it's not just about like the Meepo getting ganked. I think I want to highlight about how well the Radiant team played the early game, especially the Rubik, because like you mentioned, they got the matchup, the Razor against the Omni Knight, but they didn't even play the lane at all. Yeah. Like Rubik just pulled, and the Omni, they went behind.
And she rotated mid as well.
Yeah, they pushed.
Right?
So what happened was they pushed the first wave, Fade Bolt, wave goes in, they go behind, they cut perfect because the Omni doesn't want to fight the Razor. Razor has a hard time last hitting on the tower, and after he secures the lane for the Omni Knight, he made the perfect rotation. He ganked mid and he went bot, so he pretty much like one man won all the lanes for the Radiant team, for Aster.
And we've heard Chuan talk about his support duo before the game, right? We heard him say that Baboka and Fade, they are super loud and they communicate like a ton at the early stage of the game to set that tempo and play together very well. We kind of missed that kind of action on the side of Forze. We had a Shadow Demon and a Snapfire, and I guess they are not that good at rotating by default.
In the laning stage itself, they even did some mistakes, I should say. Like the rotations from them were even bad for their team. Like Shadow Demon rotates mid, and instead of them getting that kill on Storm with a successful Earthbind, they disrupt him and the Earthbind misses. So they had a couple of mistakes here and there in the early stage, but later on is where they really did shine. Snapfire helped Meepo kill Sven a couple of times with that E-Blade plus Mortimer's Kiss. Then Shadow Demon was saving the cores that got initiated on, and they definitely did play a major role in this team's struggle to at least stay in the game, which they did manage to do. Even after this rampage from Sven, they managed to kill him off, and then they managed to take Roshan. And
I mean, if they can solve the laning issue, the laning phase issue that they have in the games today, I think moving forward as a team, they could improve by a significant amount if the laning phase actually goes. Because sometimes they play well in the mid game, but because they are crippled by the laning phase itself, the game is so difficult for them to play. Imagine if they can just 50-50 the laning phase.
Usually who you have to look at if your laning stage is going, or usually who people do look at, are the supports. And that's strange because their supports are arguably the most experienced one in the team. You have Vanscore and you have Chu, right? And they should be the ones that are doing the most, all the heavy lifting early on.
Was it then just the hero choices for them that should have changed so that they could be more active?
I mean, you could say that it's easier for the Rubik to rotate to kill because Rubik has more kill potential. But at the same time, I feel like when you talk about Vangscore and Chuash, they both strike me as players that are more reactive. They tend to be more content when they are playing around the map. They are more comfortable waiting for something to happen, or they will like choose to stack creeps, stack the jungle, and then wait for something to happen, control runes, rather than trying to initiate something, trying to make something happen on your own. And usually a lot of teams prefer that position 4 players that are much more aggressive, and maybe they feed more, sure. But they are more willing to do something, you know.
As long as they don't pull you into the feed as well. As long as you don't feed with them, that's cool. There are some players that have complained to me about their position 4s and how reckless they are. It forces them to be reckless as well to follow up.
Buy one, free one kind of move. One person goes in, the other follows, and both of them feed.
I must say, Aster played really clean this game. Like, we're talking about points that Forze could improve, and sure, the laning stage could improve, but at the same time, you're also looking for mistakes that the other team might make that you could capitalize on. I kind of feel like Aster played like really clean in terms of there weren't any obvious mistakes that could have been played better.
And just a few mistakes here and there, I would say, like Sven dying on the bottom lane alone, that opened up the possibility for Meepo to go into the pit, take ages. Some small ones, but overall, yeah.
I
clean
mean, the main
performance by
difference
Aster.
maker is going to be the laning phase.
Yeah.
They are a team that understood what they have to do in the laning phase to secure an advantage, whereas Forze is still, I think from all the games we've seen today, they are not very sure about what to do in the laning phase. They are mostly clearer during the mid game and towards the late game and how they're going to play the team fights. But the early game, they're struggling a lot on how to make the rotations and how to place their lanes.
But that's also very interesting because usually when you see new players, you expect them to do well in the laning stage, but later on, because of that lack of experience and knowledge, they kind of fall off, right? In the mid game, they kind of get lost. It's completely opposite with Forze. Or Force, or how are we pronouncing this name?
Forze?
Forze? Yeah, all right.
Well, because if it's Force, then it should be a C, and it's
Yeah.
not a C, it's a Z. Z.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it is a Z, but I think we
Yeah.
pronounce it Force. That is a good one. So changes, we're looking to see perhaps different in supports, different in setting up their lanes more stable. I think that indeed younger teams, normally when you have inexperience in terms of communication later on, at least you can rely on an individual skill during
Mechanical skill,
yeah,
yeah.
during laning
Pick Lich
stage.
King. Lich King win lane. Easy game.
Draft stuns. We'll just go back to that. I actually thought they should have done better at the lanes. In terms of, like, I don't know, they probably should have, but like,
Lich King, Shiva.
I don't think that the
Lich
draft
King
is that
wins the lane.
Lich King wins
First
the
pick
lane.
Lich King.
All right, well, I'm all for it. Let's see what we have here in game number 2. We have Radiant side for Aster once again, Dire for Forze once again, and I think Aster's like, why change a winning team, as in a winning anti-team with the same ban so far. Same thing goes for Forze.
Oracle banned out Lone Druid as well in Team Aster.
Just the Bat Rider left in on the side of Aster, and for Forza the only one that they haven't banned out yet is the Nyx Assassin, which, they have first pick, so they might want to pick that up themselves. We have seen, though, depending on if you were watching the other stream, I guess, we've seen Fade play Nyx Assassin today. That was like almost impossible to deal with for their enemy team. That being said, their enemy team was Boom, and they maybe
is
not.
all right. I
Yes,
think,
but they're maybe not too high on the old tier list at this event.
And they go for the Nyx Assassin Forze instantly.
Yes.
I mean, Nyx Assassin is just completely back. He's in the meta, and that talent that allows him to set up the stun with the
Time to
Meteor
pick
Hammer
Rubik.
as well. It's
Steal your stun. Well, what do you think about? So, what do you think about the nerf? Are you mad? They nerfed the stun because of the talent.
yeah. It's
But they had to do that, right? Because now you can no longer Meteor Hammer
Yeah.
perfectly synergized.
no,
Right?
it's not perfect, but
Well,
it's,
well, almost.
Yeah. But
Like
you know
you-
what as well? There's also this fact. Nyx Assassin came back into the meta because of the Meteor Hammer and the stun.
Yeah.
But then people just moved away from the Meteor Hammer and started building normal utility items. And it's still good. It's still about the Carapace and the stun.
And the mana burn, which is very annoying later in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, just prevents you from picking so many heroes because of that mana burn, right?
Now that is a very different opening from what we saw previous game.
Shadow Shaman.
I mean, I love this Lifestealer. He doesn't necessarily lose his lane too much, but Lifestealer should do well. You also have a Lifestealer plus Nyx Assassin later on, so you have that bomb, right? Vendetta bomb. And overall, it's a good opening as well from Forze.
But then again, the key hero is not on the carry. It's more on the mid player.
Yeah.
What did we think? We talked a lot about how we thought the mid lane should go with the Razor and the Storm, but what did we think about 119's performance? I also don't know if it's 19-teen or 119.
119, yeah.
Forever 19.
I mean, it was a Razor game, so, and he wasn't even mid, he was on the side lane.
True.
So there isn't really too much to talk about how he did. His job was to run up to the Sven in the middle of team fight and link him up. Usually he would try to do that, but they would either sleep him or move the Sven away in
He's
some
more
way.
like the
so-
supporting core that game.
Exactly, and he didn't really manage to do that too well. At least that Sven was just running rampant in every single team fight. and
Yeah.
he wasn't really stopped by the Razors, so it's good in a way that they didn't lose their lanes as hard. But with Nyx, I think you can kind of achieve the similar goal and also have scaling potential, with stronger scaling, that is.
Wait, so both games Aster had last pick? Both games? The previous game as well, right?
Yes, correct. And both games, they also had the same sides. So they must prefer second pick or Dire or first pick in Radiant.
Probably the second pick, because they are keeping the win condition hero last, which is a carry, because the mid player is more the space maker.
Banning out Viper.
Oh, is there anything of these two that you're looking for
TA
to break?
TA is pretty good against Nyx. Not very sure, but
Yeah, because you're thinking that the Viper ban is to protect something that is still to come.
yeah, because they're gonna pick the TA on the what was it, 17 pick, so it's gonna be early.
Yeah.
So it's gonna give the opponent one more pick to counter the hero. So they're
So
already
you
making
Huskar
plans.
maybe
When you're
or-
saying
Yeah.
17, is that third or fourth for all the noobs under us?
Fourth pick
Fourth
for
pick.
Aster, because
Okay.
they're gonna pick their fourth hero
Right.
first before Forze picks their fourth hero. So that gives Forze another pick to counter the mid hero, which is what Aster did in the last game. I think they're probably gonna do the same thing and keep the carry last.
Might as well. And we heard Schwan again. I keep bringing it up, but it was a very insightful interview. We heard him talk about it, that all he wants to do is create space for his carry,
am
and that's
space
also
maker.
what the supports want to do. So this is a 4 protect 1 in a way, and then you kind of want to set up that one for the best possible game. Give him
Overall,
last pick.
yeah, overall TA isn't necessarily that hero that protects your position one. It's more on the greedier side.
Yeah,
Even
he is greedy.
yeah, even if you go for that blink dagger kind of a build, you're still on the greedier side. You're still farming with it. But honestly, even though what you said for Chuan might be true, they do swap these roles sometimes.
They do.
SCCC does play sometimes these more of a playmaking kind of heroes. There were games in which Chuan would play a Medusa, let's say, and then you would see something
Yeah,
different. on
talking about
SC.
that, certain teams, they are flexible enough to adjust based on
That's so great.
pick order.
Yeah.
Like if you have last pick, then if you have the option of maybe putting more of the win condition on the mid hero, and then when you're on the first pick side, you want to put the win condition on the carry hero, because you're gonna have a better laning phase.
Won't they go with the Razor very early
I
on?
mean, still a very good hero against the lifestealer.
Yeah.
And could be mid, could be carry. So I think it's a really good solution here for being second pick, since they have to pick first. So it gives them flexibility of the lanes. They can swap the lanes.
It's pretty good versus the Visage pick if they love to go for that as well in the
Yeah.
laning stage.
But he
in the mid.
hates Nyx Assassin.
Yeah.
He hates the carapace.
Everybody hates the Carapace, but I guess him a little bit more so.
Not Rubik. Rubik wants the carapace.
It's true.
We go with the Lich.
Oh, they still get the Lich in the end. Oh, that's a good sign. It means that they're gonna do much better in the laning phase.
Yeah.
But Lich plus Lifestealer is not as strong as the earlier lanes that we saw. Lich, Ricky, that was kind of one of my favorites. The lane was very, very easy for them to kill the enemy heroes.
I mean,
They have a lot of kill potential.
it's still a pretty decent hero versus Mars, if that's the lane matchup, right? You still... Oh, wait. Wisp?
That's an IO, yeah.
Io.
Oh,
So far, they have
okay.
no combos with this Io, so this is just... maybe even a mid Io, it could happen. We have seen it, but...
Buff the carry IO, man.
Yeah.
It's all for the carry. I think it's going to be IO with a safe lane carry, and the Razor is most likely going to be a mid hero.
Interesting. What do you get right now?
As if you're
your
fourth?
carry, yeah.
Or if you're Aster.
Yeah, if you're Aster, what would you
You
get with
can
that?
still
Wisp?
get the Tiny, you can get the Gyrocopter, you can get the Juggernaut.
There's a bunch of options.
There's a lot of options. I don't know if IO Troll is really that nice, but it's an option too. Let's see what the answer is for Forze though, because you want to be able to blow up that IO fast, and they probably will pick up their carry because they know the offlane, or rather they're assuming the offlane, so they can already put themselves. Oh, they already have the lifestealer, of course. What am I talking about?
They have the Lifestealer. That matchup is already known if they...
Yes.
They need some team fight right now. Team fight setup.
Teamfight offlaner?
Yeah, team fight offlaner, because I think they have enough stuns from the Nyx.
Isn't the Timbers banned by themselves? What is good? What else is good against the IO on the offlane? IO +1.
What's good with Nyx? I think you should look at it that way.
You
perhaps
kind of, if you
more.
want to have a better laning phase, you're probably gonna want a range hero, like something like Puck.
Yeah.
Puck Nyx, and Puck lanes pretty well against Razor. But I don't think Razor is the safe laner. I don't think so.
No,
There's a higher chance that the Razor's gonna go mid.
exactly.
And if they do Puck Lifestealer and Puck Lifestealer cost,
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they'll just go for a Pango.
well, Pango's okay as well. Like it's
Stick
pretty
in the
good.
comfort zone.
It's pretty good against the. I think it's pretty good against their heroes.
Yeah, you can Dazzle.
But yeah, I think the Dazzle is the offlaner with the Nyx.
With Nyx, yeah.
Yeah, the
It-
lane is gonna be very strong.
Dazzle isn't as strong in the core role as he used to be. Like he's been nerfed a couple of times.
Yeah, but I think the idea is they felt like it could be a Razor safe lane, so they wanted a range hero against it. And when you pick Nyx as a position 4, I think it's very important that you pick an offlaner that enables the Nyx, because you want to win your lane. If Nyx, you don't get a good start in the early game, you're gonna do a lot less in the game.
But you can't leave this Dazzle. That's also a thing. You really have to.
Yeah, you want to be able to play in the lane
Yeah.
so that you can get levels and maybe kills.
By the way, I love this ban. I love the Meepo ban coming from Aster because Dazzle plus Meepo is a different kind of a story. It would be much more difficult to deal
There's still
with.
Dazzle Naga. I think Naga's still pretty good for them.
Yeah, because we talk a lot about
He-
Gipke's cheese-ish
Micro
heroes,
heroes.
micro heroes.
I think-
Naga still
Yeah, I think
pull us
Naga's
before?
pretty good against these 4 heroes. Decent, not bad.
Although I kind of was expecting Gipke to be the lifestealer player. And 19 to be the one that's getting the last pick.
Gipke
Or
is usually their
100.
mid laner, so Lifestealer should be on the safe lane, I suppose. And
Yeah.
we'll see what they go for on that mid lane now, but I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Queen of Pain as well picked up. It's a
But
hero
that's not
that can.
his kind of hero,
It-
right?
it-
It's a go-to
yeah.
hero against a Razor.
Yeah, it's a go-to hero versus Razor. You get that burst versus Wisp as well. The only problem is there's a lot of catch coming from Shadow Shaman.
He did play co-op earlier today.
There you go.
As in
But
Chuan
it's not
did.
his specialty hero, right? Queen of Pain.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. You literally have two types of players. You have these Queen of Pains, TA Storms, and then you have these Meepos.
No, there's one more. There's
Broods.
one more type. The Dragon Knight players.
Yeah, the Dragon Knight and
Viper.
Razors and Venomancers. Those are the ones as well.
All right, talk to me about this draft. Where does the Veno fit in?
They're all anti-Razor lanes.
So basically where Veno fits in mostly here is versus the Wisp, right, as well, because of the changes to the poisons thing. It definitely does
Reducing healing done
Re-
by 30%.
Exactly. Reduces a lot of healing from Wisp, but
That's a
overall I
funky lineup.
it just looks funky. It looks like
Yeah.
exactly what I expected. It's a team that has a hero spammer, and then you have to completely think outside of the box and get him one of these heroes that he actually likes to play in the end, right? It's all of his others are banned, and now you have to go deep.
So I think right now, what is a good hero as a carry here? Or they might actually put the Razor as a carry and pick another win condition mid hero.
Oh, it's
Or
the Naga for
It's the Naga
themselves.
for themselves. So
They could-
the
they-
Razor's still mid.
Doesn't have to be, right? You could put Naga versus
you could.
Veno as
Yeah, you
well,
could.
and then you can dispel the Gale. Shouldn't be that difficult. And then
And you're happy with the lane because it's like both sides are going to be happy trading farm. That's great for Naga.
but also it should be decent for her versus Dazzle because of that poisons.
Yeah,
It's
it's a very good pick for the lane matchups. Either way.
And if the lanes go the way of Aster, is there much chance for Forze in the mid game?
it's gonna be difficult
It's
when
hard.
you
They don't deal with the Naga very well.
They
Yeah.
don't deal with the
heroes.
Naga, and when you have a Dazzle core, if this Dazzle truly is a core, which I think he is,
They
it-
have to finish the
yeah.
game, win the lane, get Necrobook, push, and end the game.
Yeah, you have to do so much super early on. You can't rely on the late game.
So this 10th pick Naga kind of, in you guys' eyes, seals the deal in favor of Aster.
Yeah, they have a clock. They're on a very, very, very fast clock. They don't have much time to finish the game, because their win condition right now is none of their cores match up very well against the enemy. So what they have is the push from the Dazzle. And that's what they're gonna hope that will bring them the victory.
Any one of those 5 heroes in particular that you're going to keep an eye out for? Does specifically Dazzle or specifically Veno have to do well, or is it all about the Lifestealer?
I really think
lane?
it's a lot about the Dazzle. And
Yeah,
how
if
he
Dazzle
does.
loses
Yeah,
his lane, it's GG.
It's
GG. The
it's
game
just
is over.
that hero after the laning stage.
You guys are painting a very grim picture for Forze here, but let's see what is going to happen in the second game of the series. Over to ODPixel and Kyle.
Thank you, Sheev. Yes, I mean, that really is the question, Kyle. You know, looking at these cores that Forze's come in, two of them being, you know, not the standard go-to cores at all of the patch. It's Veno and Dazzle. Can they do it? Are these heroes that are going to allow them to sort of have a guaranteed win in the laning stage and sort of ride this early advance to a win, or are they going to struggle against Aster once again?
I think they're going to struggle. I think that if it were anything but a Naga, this would be a different story. But there is nothing they have to deal with the hero. You have no song play around. It's a traditionally excellent hero against the Venomancer, and you have a Wisp behind. Like, this is just such an insane game for the hero. And the win condition, you'd argue, is the Lifestealer. Well, he's playing against a Razor.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It's going to be tough. And it's going to be interesting to see what sort of route he wants to go on the Lifestealer. Now, we've seen, obviously, some of the top carries in the world going back to like that Armlet Deso build. This game, is that temptation going to be, well, yeah, he's queuing up the Maelstrom because he needs to have something right against the illusions. So we'll be queuing up the build that was very popular for quite a while indeed, just getting the Maelstrom online.
There's just so much control on the side of Aster as well. I've always loved Wisp against Lifestealer too, because you just provide that just survivability. You relocate him out if necessary. Once again, Forze is kind of low on the disables. Sure, you've got a Nyx, but just not really the greatest Nyx game, especially against all these just long duration stuns and the Naga illusions. It's that third item timing, right? We heard it in the game that Gamba played earlier today when Alan was talking to the coach, like, hey, this Naga's gonna get his third item and we win. And it's really the same story here.
This should, okay, no, it won't be. By looks, or maybe it will. Yeah, without a second blast, it will. There's not enough healing, of course, this stage of the game for Bo3 to do anything to save him theirs. They do get first blood. Able to slow down and chase out XXS to start things off before the runes spawn too, so can do a good job of easily securing the 2 bounty runes top and almost certainly getting the one down here if they time it nicely with the stun fade. Yeah, he's got the nuke skilled up. Stun comes into place, so Forza will be able to get first blood and 3 bounties to begin this game. Oh, you're right. Yeah, of course. Sorry. Totally skipped my mind. You're right. They get all 4 of them. Okay, could not be any better.
Start the game with 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah,
You take that.
Excellent.
Take that for sure. And yeah, look, you can see all the couriers just coming out of the base and mass like, yes, we've got the items. Let's go.
Oh, I mean, this is great, right? You know, we're talking about this lineup needs to do well on the laning stage. Also, to clarify, we sort of, you know, obviously during the panel, the draft was wondering where this Dazzle is going to go off lane mid. It's going to be Gibkey playing the mid Dazzle, BZZ playing the off lane Veno. Do you like this decision? You know, putting the Dazzle here mid and getting the Veno to play bottom with the Nyx Assassin.
I think so, because Dazzle has really, it's physical damage, right, on both the Q and the E. So against a hero with 10 base armor under tower, you don't really do much to a Naga, whereas the Veno, you just spam attack with the W and harass using health removal.
Yeah, I mean, now the question is, you know, can Dazzle, does he win this 1v1? Is Tron still going to be able to get good link opportunities, or can Gibkey play this?
This is a matchup Dazzle wins.
He should win this, yeah.
It can go both ways, sure, but the heal bomb, right? You want to charge me with Link and you get a nice heal bomb off, that's big trouble. And you push the lane, which as we saw in the previous game, Razor stuck CSing under tower. It's just not where you want to be. You have very low base damage. We just saw there. He only got 1 using his Q even on that full wave under tower.
Now looking at some of these other lanes, the top lane. XXS. We saw last game, obviously, BZZ playing the off-lane. Mars did a very good job in lane with the CS. Bottom lane, Fade tries to trade with Chu. Won't be able to bring down Chu before he falls. As Fade goes down. Bit of aggression onto XXS again. Vanscore and 19 really doing a good job of pushing XXS back. And in fact, pulling him back in with that fear. With another blast, they've got themselves the kill. Forza doing a really nice job here with this Lifestealer Lich Lane. Obviously getting that first blood, getting those early, extra bit of items. It's giving them this edge.
Vanscore started the game with 2 mangoes. With all that gold, he immediately bought 3 more. He's now got
That's
none
how you
left.
do it.
Okay, that's why they're winning this top lane. So it's a little deceiving because they're not going to be able to consistently do this because you don't have 5 more mangoes on the Lich. And now he's actually in a little bit of trouble. In fact, no, he will be fine.
So he's going to turn and see if they can, again, do a bit of damage with the pullback, allowing 19 a lot of time to punch into him. Still, though, XXS does find the angle for the spear. We'll put 19 off from staying around for more. Chu's going to come in with the TP. They want to continue to play aggressive here. As Vanscourt just about to get that delivery, the 3 more mangoes now in his pocket, ready to go. He pops them up. They're looking towards XXS to again focus the aggression onto the Mars. They know that they can kill him through the sustain, just the small amount that Boboka's able to offer up this early, and they will do so. Another kill on this lane. They're doing everything they can here up top to really mess up this Mars' game early on and make sure Lifestealer gets free CS.
The problem is, Owen, that it just doesn't matter. It's the Naga that you have to worry about, and there's just nothing they're doing to check SCCC. Sure, you're finding these kills, but he's just free farming bottom. You got to be concerned about this.
And we're seeing mid lane Chuan. He is taking quite the lead against Gibkey. As they are going to come in with this rotation. Chu does find the stun. This is a very important kill if they can get it in time, but fades in with the shackles, and he may be able to get the turn. The spike carapace does trip up Chuan momentarily, but he does indeed bring them both down. He is taking down the point. He's looking for the... It couldn't be any better for Chuan. He gets the deny to the neutral creep, making sure that he does not die to the poison touch damage, and that's a disaster and a half there for Forza in the mid lane. It was, the thought was there, right? Chu was in time, but Fade, again, his movements at the start of last game, we're seeing again here in game 2. He's always exactly where he needs to be to turn these sort of moves around.
Yep. That's what we've come to expect from him. I even love the skill build. That second point in Shackles is now super value because you get that bonus 100 damage. It used to be significantly more level 1. Now you really want that second point. Also the increased disable. And just in general, really nice play as we've come to expect from this Aster lineup. Top, it is level 4 Lifestealer versus just a level 2 Mars. But this is the thing about getting all those kills, right? Yeah, sure, you're 0-3 on XXS, but as you can see, it doesn't really affect the status quo in this laning phase, right? Whereas Naga, even left alone, can still free farm to his heart's content because there's really just no way to pressure him.
I mean, and do you feel with the heroes that Forza have, they could lane this in a way where you can put pressure onto the Naga early, or do they just not have the heroes to do it?
Yeah, they don't have the heroes. You could theoretically have a Dazzle core down there and just like spam with maybe a tri-lane, but it's maybe unrealistic. And yeah, you see SCCC, oh, you're annoying me? Okay, whatever. Pops his Q and easily clear out these wards with his illusions. It's just so much bonus gold if you place these Venom wards down. It's 15 per. And Naga just doesn't really have to commit resources to take them out. Nice job blocking the camp with Chu, so slowing him down just a little bit. But again, I'm always concerned when I see an enemy carry allowed to play by himself in the safe lane. It just feels bad, man.
See up top, XXS, very nice angle with the spear, able to clip Vanscourt to the cliff. And we have to get a bit of control here, taking the outpost back. And I mean, you're right, yeah, that getting those kills up top and winning that lane, it did cost him a lot. I mean, I've seen he's filled up to 3 mangoes again. I've lost count of how many mangoes he's brought. It feels great in the lane, right? Yeah. You are getting these kills, but you got to watch how much of your funds are going back into the mangoes. It's a lot.
You check the net worth, to your point. It's like, wait, aren't we winning top? How is our... Wait, we're not, though. And you realize these kills just aren't relevant. Lifestealer, of course, also been forced to buy at least 3 or 4 salves because XXS just spams his W. Mid lane, a Link, not going to be successful. Nice ward placed by Fade. He got that down before the Dire ward on the high ground went up, so... Yeah,
well, you're seeing every sort of, like, any time the support swap halves of the map.
And talk about right place, right time. Fade shows up. This should be a very easy kill onto the Venom, perhaps. Hang on.
He's still got the nuke, right? It's just a level 1 nuke, and stick charges are there, so BZZ will live for now. Fade knowing that, we're just at level 1 with his skill build won't do enough to kill him. BCZ does start running back in, takes a bit of a punch there for the Riptides being procced by all these illusions.
Dazzle haste.
See what they can do as he's in, looking towards CCC, immediately goes for the TP out, knows that there's no further lockdown, and will manage to save himself from this rotation. Gibkey's still going for this, looking for Boboka. He's taking quite a punch from the tower. In fact, Boboka's hiding. They didn't keep on top of him. He's able to live. Gibkey has to TP out. Chu has been left behind. It does get the stun off onto Boboka, but there's no further damage. Boboka will be fine. Chu falls. And they're trying to make these moves, Forza, but Aster are just, they're stopping them from being successful every single time. There's more space for sort of the rest of the team to make plays. Gibkey's got to make that walk back to mid. Obviously, their own mid was forced down. Bottom Chuan now starting to clean up the safe lane. And at least Vanscourt does manage to soak up some levels in mid, but just a step ahead again, Aster, in this early game, just as we saw in game 1.
They've rotated the Razor down to bottom. To try and stop with BZZ, because you can just farm the woods, no problem for SCCC. And a big point is that they do it at 7 minutes, right? So now he's going to be able to clear up and find a lot of these neutral items for his squad. Gets a Jelly to start, mid, fade, level 3. Love to get more levels on this roster. Very level-dependent 4-position hero. A lot of lane rotations. Now they put the Naga top.
Yeah.
This is cool because Lifestealer, you can pressure Mars, sure, but Illusion Cores? No way.
Yeah, not at all. You know, as we said, obviously is going for that Maelstrom build, but did finish off the sort of the full phase in the one, going for the laning items rather than the Maelstrom rush. So he had more of a presence in the lane. Will slow down sort of the starting and obviously picking up that farm pace. Something that SCCC is going to be able to do that a little bit quicker once he has those early stats all done and dusted. The 2 Wraith Bands, the Treads. SCCC is going to be able to consistently clean out waves, clean out jungle camps at a rate that the Lifestealer won't be able to keep up with.
Too, right? You've got great protection behind you. Illusions in the wave, you jungling 2 wards below. And you can't really kill this Naga unless you're willing to rotate a Veno and a Nyx. And yeah, they actually just have 19 to leave the lane because no reason to stick up there.
He's going to try for kills down bottom. Pops the Rage early to try and run and get on top of Chuan. Chuan, he is surrounded by a lot of heroes. He needs help. It doesn't look like he's going to get it. They're going to let Razor die here. No backup comes through for Chuan, so Forze with the move will take him off the map.
But mid lane, they got a spear back thanks to the rotate over from Fade as well, and they actually kill off Gipki. However, Razor died. So, is that good?
Well, mid for a mid. I mean, I feel like if you're Forze at this point, you know, any sort of even trade is fine. As long as you can try and do something on top of it. They're putting pressure onto this tier 1 tower bottom.
Oh, but I love this. They immediately glyph, right? And they're going to just beeline for top, where Naga's already pushed the wave in because he's constantly cutting it. Chu wants to get this XP, but you don't let a level 3 Nyx farm on contestant under tower. You run at this guy. That's just what they're doing.
Mid lane Fade, again, is looking for some sort of connection. That ward continues to do so much work for Aster. Gipki, and will find the vision to get the point to touch off. Back over towards the river. Chuan finds Vanskor out alone. Fade is actually there with the setup. There's going to be time for the rest of the team to come across. Arena's down spear. Massively off the mark though from XXS, so Gipki can sidestep it. He's still going to be in trouble though because Chuan comes in still with that massive amount of damage that he built up. They'll try and push back the 2 of them. Chuan, he can fight this. He absolutely can still continue to try for it, especially with Bo3 coming across, tethering him. BZZ's got to run, so is Chu. BZZ will not be able to escape. Chu can keep his distance, but Chuan there getting the triple kill, but Bo3 giving them that extra bit of power to push on forwards and ensure that Aster come out on top of the trade.
It's kind of crazy though, this synergy between the Dazzle Veno, this Poison Sting, or rather the Poison Touch, is consistently reapplied just thanks to the Veno ward attacks. Both Razor and Mars had that on them for like 15-20 seconds. It's so much damage output. It's going to be punishing, but we'll say 19 game, he's going to have the Maelstrom soon. SCCC, even though he hasn't died, still not where he'd like to be in terms of the net worth position, but again, he's getting so much space up top. And he's just going to live up in these dire jungles.
Yeah, definitely again, one of those games where as the time goes on, cores of Aster are going to be that little more scary than that. Oh, Forze, mid lane Forze. They're not letting this game slow down at all though. They get it behind the middle lane and find that pick off onto XXS. Continue to play aggressive. Chu has got the Lifestealer inside him. See who else they can catch. Does have the vision on Fade. That ward on the high ground spots out Fade alone. He'll drop immediately though. Quick reactions there with the Hex and the wards. It won't save him though. His team's able to fight his way out, slide out with the phase boots and take down Fade.
He gets the XP, love it.
Yeah, he's able to bring one of them down with him. Vanskor to full. To the wards.
Fade Dota 2, baby. This guy is just really great person, great teammate, and obviously an excellent player. It will be the Necro book on Gipki, at least to start. This is not surprising. You get the cooldown reduction from your ultimate, almost 100% uptime on that Necro book, so quite solid.
Yeah, I imagine he'll, I think you do just keep it at the level 1, don't you, with mid-dazzle. You go for the other items first so that the value there is not quite there in terms of going for the full upgrades. Level 1 Necro book's all you need to speed up the farming, speed up the pushing.
Yeah, and how do you, this is the thing though, SCCC, he's got Song. How are you going to kill this guy before he's Song TPs away?
They're going to try maybe. Chu's eyeing it up. See if they can do this. They got the stun. What else have they got? They'll get the bounce. The creeps out as well, but he will Song and he will TP. Yeah. That was, a couple of ults there, the Vendetta hit and the Chain Frost, and it's just not, not going to be enough.
It needs to be perfect and lucky, and it's just not realistic. He's going to finish the Yasha in the base. You've done your job, right? The wards have faded, it's unsafe, you skill Song, you force the rotate, and now you go back to your own woods, and you know the 3 enemy heroes are now standing on a tier 2 of their own with the wave in front of them. It's just very efficient and easy to buy time. Aster, they're looking for the late game. They've got the Naga, no rush.
And even though the lifestealer is farmed, it's exactly what you mentioned earlier. It's the fact that 19 teams having to play this game into one of the hardest of counters, into this Razor. Each and every time, he's got to be careful for the static link. As long as Chuan saves it for him, this lifestealer's whole fighting potential it's immediately shut down. And there really is no sort of counter they can get anytime soon to sort of stop that play from happening. They've got to hope that the Razor uses the static link in inopportune moments that allows the Razor to fight when it's not up. But for the most part, that's not going to happen. Interesting, we see this build from Chuan as well, the Mask of Madness on Razor.
I have not seen that. I mean, it's another hero that can go Butterfly Satanic.
Yeah.
And it's also one of the most efficient farming items in the game.
Yep.
Right? So it's it's cheap, and it gives you more than the components plus the active.
See down bottom, Fade, he's able to get the wards down before he falls and T's trapped up. Fade, he's done his job. Sure, you've killed the Shaman, but every single time, Fade, no hesitation, just drops that ult down. Last time it got him a support kill, this time it's helping the team kill off the Lifestealer. 19, the strongest player at the moment on Forze's lineup. Fade, he just never misses a beat.
Yeah. And hey, I keep praising him, but nah, I'm gonna get sick of it. Gotta save some compliments for later.
Yeah, we gotta flame him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this guy doing? He's died 4 times. What's terrible Shaman. What's this Raps to do?
He should have stayed retired.
Yeah, why is he feeding like
No, only 1 TI. Only majors.
See what they can get in the river. Razor needs some help. Tron is going to be healed up by Bo3. He's going to go for the TP out. Will he make it away? He won't. They'll get him, and now they can turn over towards the IO as well. Forze getting a little bit of fire under their wings as 2 heroes are taken away.
Oh yeah, this BZZ Venno is going to get so annoying in just a few moments. He's going to have the Spirit Vessel finished up, and there's the Necro coming with the Dazzle. All of a sudden, the Wisp's healing potential is not really as significant, and the magic damage is just so annoying to deal with. Yeah, but again, look at the net worth though.
I'm just looking at his top. He's just been up it, and no one's looking at him at all.
Yep.
He's getting an entirely free game.
As soon as Song is back off cooldown, he can just run straight into the enemy jungle. You are not going to kill him, and it's a big concern for Forze. And this just naturally sort of makes the map 60-40 in favor of Aster. And again, they're the team that don't have to worry about the clock. They can play it casual. It's a big edge for this for the team.
Bottom, XXS finds the setup on a BZZ. Immediately he goes in with the Arena Spear to follow up. They're bringing Chuan, give them that extra bit of firepower to bring that Venno down. Instant read, instant move, no hesitation. And it's an opportunity to find some action. They'll look towards Bo3, but he's already going to be taking them back out with the relocate. Chuan will be fine, can resume farming elsewhere. And maybe looking to put a bit of pressure in on that mid tower. SCCC will come across, grab the wave, bottom lane.
Goodness.
XXS, he's actually trying to go up against Chu, but Chu's got a lot of friends around.
A lot of friends, perhaps even too many, Ellen, with all his entire team, with the exception of the dead Venomancer, coming down to bottom. And meanwhile, mid-tower.
There's Naga Siren.
Yep.
That net worth's arising, and Manta is done. So now you've got to play around the Song, play around the Manta. 2 ways that the SCCC is going to be able to slide around and slide away from you.
He's just going to straight up pressure this tier 3. Like, you want to stay bottom, go for it. I'm going to send illusions at this tower.
Really, they're doing their best to look for objectives elsewhere. They're trying for this tier 2. Chuan and Bo3 will be in time to hold it against 19 Gibkey. They're sticking around though, and they'll finish it off. Yeah. They won't be able to defend this one. Forze do have the push to take it out. So Forze, they're just playing it as a sort of a big unit, keeping together of at least 4 heroes at a time. So whereas they might not be killing the Naga Siren, they're just trying to play the game fast enough in a way that they can sort of, just not look at the Naga Siren and hope they can somehow end this game before the Naga Siren turns up with sort of those first 2 major items, and they're getting there. He's getting closer and closer. As you see, once that Manta Diffusal's there, these fights are going to become a nightmare because he's ready to turn up and fight into them.
It's like building a stack of dirty dishes in your sink, Owen. You can ignore it for a while, but eventually it becomes a problem, and the kitchen's unusable. And pretty soon, that might be the case. Gibkey goes down immediately in the arena.
So 19 can't do anything in return. He's trying for Chuan. chasing on here, but Tron, again, Bo3 constantly there, giving him the heals. The Chain Frost is out, will bounce the once. They are able to pull back XXS with the massive amounts of damage coming out from BZZ. They will get the kill. Gets the ult down to Tron, but the numbers are now in, and now they can turn. Aster can start to run them back down. He tries for the TP, but SCCC, he's ready to turn up and help the rest of his team use a bit of his power. The net will cancel the TP. Pops the song, no messing around, no running away. BZZ cannot escape. SCCC claims himself the kill, and this is the real point of the game where now you're going to start to see the difference jump up. It's a 4K lead for Aster. SCCC, he is going to be ready to turn up to these fights. He's a few hundred gold away from having the completed defusal on top of Manta at 18 minutes in. His game, it's been entirely clean so far.
Couple things. The Naga killed 2 couriers and pushed top to tier 3 and mid to tier 2 before even joining the fight. So even if you win that engagement as Forze, you don't really have the map control to do much with it. Also, this Mask of Madness Razor actually seems dope. You Q, you W, you pop it.
Yeah.
And you're attacking it through the link, yeah.
You don't need to press any more abilities, so why not benefit from that extra bit of attack speed?
And I want to reiterate, these items like Crystallis, like Mask of Madness, like Halberd, the reason they're so good is because you buy these items, and then you get more than the components plus a bonus, like for free, right? So you get a bonus 5 damage and 5% lifesteal and the active when you get the Mask of Madness. It's just so value. And if there's anything I learned...
Oh no!
Oh, hold up.
Oh, he turned! Fade was there, ready with the lockdown. Oh, he got tempted by the illusion. There was if he just kept running, he would have been able to get away, but because he turned and tried to kill the illusion, Fade was able to find that opening, and now they're just heading to Roche. And this game, it's starting to hurt now. Now you're seeing head-to-head this power of the Naga Siren. The game, in numbers, it looked even up until this point, but it never really was. This Naga Siren was just an impending problem. They're taking Roche. They'll get this in the Aegis, and Forze cannot do anything to stop it.
You get a blink on Mars now, so you have a tool to immediately force the fight and get kills, and then also the tool to disengage and ensure that no one on Forza can follow. There's just no answer to the song, and there's no answer to illusions. It's why we continue to discuss this Naga like it's impossible to defeat hero, because in some games like this one, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah. I think both drafts, Aster, they did a very solid job with that final pick, right? First time round, they picked the Sven. They know exactly how they want to play to destroy the Meepo. This game round, they get that opportunity to slide a Naga Siren in against a draft that has very little ways to deal with him at all.
And it's interesting, a lot of people might see moving from mid to carry as some sort of downgrade, but this Aster team still certainly building around SCCC, right? Every game, it's last pick his hero, and he performs.
Down bottom, I mean, it's just very hard for them to make plays. Anytime they see SCCC with the team, they can't really take a team fight.
Oh my goodness. The Chain Frost pops.
He's just killing heroes on the back lines.
What a song. His team's here. Oh, goodness gracious.
The heals as well. He's got that Aegis, of course, so he's at no threat whatsoever. The arena's down. BZZ will pop the ult. The Tron puts the BKB, runs straight towards Gibkey and Teen, keeping these two cores at the back of the fight. 19 team will go for the raised TP out. He makes it away, but BZZ will fall. They are able to at least limit the casualties, but not by that much. With the relocate over, Bo3 brings in SCCC. Dazzle will get shut down as well, as Aster are just rolling over them right now.
There's nothing you can do. It's, what do we say? Oh, you got Naga, disengage, pop arena, you're all dead. Sure, you can escape, you can TP for a moment, but up top, look at this. SCCC already pushing into that tier 3, and you can't stop him. And it might just look to end game here. They're so strong, and God forbid SCCC gets a heart. There's no way you take him out. Lifesteal, even with the rage, you just can't go toe-to-toe with these illusions. Without it, you're in trouble, you start losing mana.
Oh, he goes the Maelstrom, it's just not enough.
Middle, like they're split pushing still.
Yeah, this Naga pick was just a stroke of genius from Aster, and something that Forze's lineup, and you've got to imagine during the draft, they just did not anticipate or have any sort of preparation for. They come in with this last pick, and it is destroying Forze right now as SCCC heads over towards the mid, sends the illusions in. He can be popped here by Tron, with these illusions just ripping apart this poor Nyx assassin. Chu has to back away. Will get healed up by Gibkey. Can they chase any of these cores down? They do get the slow onto the Razor. Tron in trouble. In fact, the stun from Chu does manage to clip XXS as well. Tron will fall as XXS is trying for the TP out. Will manage to make it away. They don't, again, have any further disabled to deal with him. So they do get Chuan. They get a core, but it's still the overarching element of the story being that they're never killing this Naga Siren.
And he's getting further and further ahead.
Yeah, that heart, it's close.
That's the thing I love about how SCCC's played this game. Every single fight he's gotten engaged in was a very high percentage play. He knew that it wasn't just how he's helping his team, but it was better for his game. So right there, he doesn't even join his squad at all. He's just farming. Once he closes in on that heart, then you can just start walking at heroes. You can pretty much bait the damage because you're the one that's not going to die. But until then, just chill.
I mean, he takes these camps, and that will be the heart done.
Yep.
So you're sort of seeing this 23-minute Manta Diffusal heart, level 18 Naga Siren. Even if you were a team that had some sort of counters to this hero, you're still going to be very scared of a Naga Siren that's this farmed this early on in the game. There it is, heart done before the 23-minute mark.
Yep, this is nuts. Absolutely nuts. And yeah, he's gonna just regen, pop his man up. Then I'd expect them. Yep, they have the smoke already prepared, the gem already prepared. It's all the little things. The box is being checked by Aster. They recognize that the timing. The BKB is up. Essence Ring on the Razor, which will of course ignore the Spirit Vessel, and a blink on Fade.
Ooh, doesn't manage to get the grab though. BZZ will be able to slide away. They'll lose Van score. But BZZ will live, so.
I love bottom. They're looking, you know, even Nyx, you have a lifesteal. This is a kill team, right? But oh no, that's a knock. Might as well just run away from them. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, they just can never make plays onto SCCC. With the lead that he has, Fade already poking around with them. As BZZ and Give You will try and turn. There'll be a buyback from Vanscore. They want to attempt to fight this. They're able to kill off Fade, but the BKB's popped on Chuan, and Static Link onto 19 team, pushing back the lifestealer, and Chuan is able to get a decent link out of it. 92 damage stolen, taken away. SCCC pops the song, ready for the setup. He's ready for the cleanup. In he goes on top of the two of them. Chu will manage to blink out in time, and BZZ will get healed, but Chu comes back in. The net's there from SCCC. 19 team, he's trying to fight. He's trying to get some sort of a kill here, popping the rage, but can he quite do it? Chuan's getting low. Can 19 Teal kill the Razor? He can. Will manage to take the Razor down. Gem hits the deck, but SCCC, he's still there, and he's still very, very strong right now. Gibkey and 19 Team, they're trying to poke at him. And they chase him, open wounds, onto the Naga Siren, but Baboka's back in. 19 Team knows has to go immediately for the TP out, but the rage, it ended. The rage was not long enough for him to TP back successfully. XXS is in with a spear to cancel it. A shallow grave will buy a mere seconds before he will inevitably fall, as they're 4 down and nearly to be ultimately a team wipe here, as Astra just diving into the base, chasing down Gibkey. He's out of mana and he's out of life. 5 heroes taken down, one after another. Aster just fighting inside of the base. It really is. It's just all Naga Siren at this point. This hero is too big and too strong.
He's playing it so well.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable how he's turning this around. And he kills on the lifesteal with the illusions, right? He's still chasing the dazzle, so the tether is enough to ensure he's able to find that follow-up exit kill. Now you get the tier 3, it's onto the racks.
Yeah, and you just can't head forward. Playing against these illusions, just Diffusal Blade as a concept, incredibly annoying to fight into when you are behind. Ju is going to try and make a jump for it. Looking to commit with the stun, but won't be able to find it. It's off the mark. Vanscore just gets shredded entirely. BZZ is locked to the arena wall as Aster continue to clean up, pushing this in, taking down this middle racks. SCCC, he's not too fussed about the buildings. He's more than happy to continue to pad out his KDA as he sends the illusions in, forcing Forze back. As 19 Team, he can only fight during that rage. As soon as the rage ends, he has nothing else to contribute, especially with Chuan each and every fight, taking away a good amount of his right click. More than enough space is there. Aster, they clean up the middle racks. Forze, they are trying their best to play on, but there is very, very little that they can do to stop the inevitable hit.
Oh, for sure. And just the net worth of the Naga, right? I feel like Lifestealer hasn't changed, but SCCC's going up like 10K in that same amount of time. Just off the song. Defensive. Just get out.
Yeah,
Better safe
back
than
away.
sorry. It's all the little things. It reminds me a lot of that newbie team that SCCC played for. You know, they won the Genting Minor, even though it felt more like a major, and in general had a very prominent year. Very similar sort of style, where it feels like they always have drafts that will win inevitably, and they play mistake-free Dota. It's very clean thus far. And again, I just want to reiterate, not just the Naga pick, but SCCC's play has been near flawless. Look at the CS, 336, 27 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels, as we said as well. You saw in game one, obviously Aster got the win, but there were some slip-ups. There were some sort of, arguably mistakes to be made. They didn't look happy or satisfied with that game one win. They're coming into this game two exactly how you imagine them to do so after whatever talks were had. This is very flawless play from Aster. They've set up this game for Naga Siren to have an entirely free time, and it's showing. 9-0-4, SCCC's been able to do exactly as he wanted this match.
How about Baboka though? 2-1-20 on a Wisp.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, this game sure SCCC's playing great, but it's because of the space that the team's made for him. The team has made this just a perfect playground for a Naga Siren to go to work. You've seen these fights again. It's just not fun for Forze. They don't have heroes that can do anything against this right now.
He has sidestepped so many impales this game as well. And keep in mind, that's what, the one stun for Forze? I'm not going to count the Lich Fear, nor Open Wounds is like real disable. Even though it is, I suppose, but you get what I mean? They got Greaves on the Dazzle, but I just don't know if this is going to help him too much. As Aster, they've got all their cooldowns. And it's time to get ready to go. They're going to finish off the Butterfly on SCCC. Perhaps that's the item that gives them the confidence to just straight up beeline for the base.
Yeah, just all these waves being pushed in against them. It's not going to get any more fun for Forze with the Butterfly done on SCCC. Now these illusions, they're going to feel pretty indestructible. Every time he sends them down a lane or sends them onto a support, good luck trying to take them off you. This illusion's very, very strong, having to Gale, trying to slow them down in some sort of a capacity mid lane. Chu will manage to find the stun onto Fade, but the Glimmer Cape and the Tez's there. Fade's fine, he can turn to the Hex out of the arena, trapping the three of them. They're locked in place, they're life stealing. They're all just instantly dead at this point. And GG will finally be called. Forze tap themselves out of this series as Aster take game two. And with that, this series, and very, 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 very confidently as well with that performance, that draft. They knew exactly what to do. They did not mess around. Definitely a tough matchup for Forze. They were able to win their first series of the group to get here, but going up against Aster, Aster is, they're on top form. They're not messing around. They see this tournament as a straight sort of easy path towards the major, and they're playing like that.
Oh, for sure. And we thought they looked strong in the first series, then they come here against Forze and just absolutely boomed them. And I don't know what you're supposed to think and take from this. As Forze, it felt a lot just like they were outclassed, which is what I would call it when you're outplayed, outpicked, outdrafted, and outlaned in 2 consecutive games. And they're a solid squad. I just feel like this Aster team, this is Tier 1 Dota. I'm sure they made some mistakes. They were a little weak in the qualifiers, but the potential is there, and you can see it. They're playing a lot smoother than anyone else that we've witnessed, though I haven't seen Alliance play because it was working the other half of the bracket. But I feel like the predictions coming into this tournament were it's going to be Aster versus Alliance. And so far, I don't know if we've seen anything to demonstrate a different team could possibly contend, at least not in this group.
No, for sure. Aster just a step ahead and definitely impressing today. And some very, very smooth plays, smooth drafts in both of the games. And, of course, you said in the earlier series as well, if you weren't able to catch that. So, Aster, they are going to be moving on, and Forze getting knocked down in this. We'll see another chance for them down the line. And Forze, there's definitely something here for these guys. As they also, talk about sort of the big names on Aster. There's some big names, some very talented players on Forze, but this matchup, it just wasn't in their favor.
It was not indeed. And, back to the drawing board. They're not out of it, but they're going to have to do a little bit better tomorrow. That's for sure.
Well, we'll see if they're able to do so and see if Aster does manage to keep themselves at top form like they did today. But there we have it. Aster taking down Forze here 2-0. We'll pass you back to the panel.
Yes, thank you so much, Odie, Pixel, and Kyle here to break down the second game and the series. I got Winter and Lizard with me. And we already said, at the start of this game, it was going to be a tough match for Forze, unless Gipki on the Dazzle mid could get completely out of control. And that kind of didn't happen, Lizard.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I actually thought the Dazzle would be the offlaner for them, but they end up sending it mid.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get completely crushed by the Razor. He did die once, right? But overall, he
wasn't it obvious he's going to play the Dazzle? That's the only hero he can micro stuff.
Because of the Necros? Yeah,
all
that's
the other
true.
heroes.
Yeah, but you can micro the wards as well from the Venomancer a little bit. Force them to stop attacking.
Not so. Not
Close
trying it.
enough. But their laning stage overall didn't go too poorly. When you think about it, they had the Dazzle and Venomancer with decent net worth. Same goes for, like you can see here, 9 minutes in, Nikes and Veno
Yeah, but
are
they're
on top.
supposed to.
Dazzle.
They're supposed to have a lead from the lanes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how are they gonna play their lineup against?
Yeah, I
the
agree.
enemy team?
I agree.
But this is, as we can see, we're already 10 minutes in, and they have an advantage of 1k, but it should have been way more than that if you want to call the laning stage a win, if you want to win with a lineup like this, because there's still a Naga Siren that will be a problem later on if you can't run over this Aster squad. And let's be real, you cannot run over this Aster squad. They play very well.
I liked how Fade played throughout the match overall, like catching people out or being caught, and then he just drops the wards and Relocate comes in, like in that situation.
He's like a bit crazy
Yeah.
sometimes. Like when he got caught, he just drops his wards. Like, I don't know if like he thought about the consequences of a free goal or whatever. He just dropped the wards regardless.
In one gank, he's ganked by 3. He still drops the wards. He doesn't care, even though those wards give like, what, 400-ish? Something like that in total? Am I wrong? But those wards kill Lich. One of the 3 heroes actually dies
Yes.
while ganking
He's just
him.
very selfless, you know, just playing for the team. Because he was quite near to his team when he got ganked, so he's like, whatever, even if I die, they get the wards, but my team is nearby.
Venomancer had a decent game too. On the other side, BZZ had that Vessel really early on. He did fall off a little bit later, but he was the one preventing Wisp from really having a huge impact in the game.
Yeah, but
the
overall,
Poison Sting, the Vessel.
Yeah, overall you could see like how Aster plays as a team and who they prioritize on putting on the win condition hero. And we mentioned a little bit about both games. They were last pick. They had last pick on both games, so I'm not 100% sure, but they probably chose to be last pick because of how they're drafting. If you notice, like they're always keeping the carry last, and they're picking the mid heroes early so that they ensure that SECC is the strongest hero within the 10 players, so he can always carry the game, and they're just playing around it.
Sometimes I feel like that approach doesn't necessarily have to be the best one. If
But
you
it's
get,
easy, you know.
Yeah, it is
it's
easy.
simplified, so everyone is very clear about what they should be doing on the map.
I just mean sometimes giving your playmaking hero the best possible matchup is going to allow him to actually make those
I
plays
understand
and
what you mean.
create
So
space for you.
You want your space maker to have a good lane because
exactly.
he's the one moving first. And if the space maker doesn't get a good lane, it's difficult for him to move.
Exactly.
Well, I've met some players where they think that doesn't matter because I'm the space maker regardless. That's what they're thinking.
So even if I die,
even
it's
if
fine.
I have a bad lane, I'm still going to be space making. I'm still going to be doing my thing. So my lane is not important that compared to the carry's lane, because the carry is the person that is going to win me the game. And if he doesn't get a good start, and I get a good start, yeah, sure, I can move around, but he's behind, and he doesn't want him to be behind because he's the win condition here. Some players think this way.
Makes sense. I think if we look at Group A, I think everybody kind of knew that Aster was going to take the top seed there.
Forze
right?
probably, I'm actually surprised by how well Forze did versus them, and I'm surprised that Forze are even in this spot here to play against them.
Yeah, but I feel like the games today tell their other opponents tomorrow that their weakness is if they don't get a good hero on Gipki, they're going to struggle. They're going to have a hard time. So I can see that in the future games, everyone is just going to be focused using all their bans to just remove, especially his Lone Druid. I'm not sure about if you need to ban the Visage, but I think Lone Druid definitely a ban for him.
Yeah.
And Meepo as well, if you don't have that last pick.
And if you don't have last pick, you ban Meepo. That's pretty much it against Forze.
Yeah, a lot is learned if you're studying today's matches.
They got exposed.
Yes. That being said, though, I mean, the team that they're going to play up against tomorrow has to face a different opponent first, so don't know how much time they'll actually get to study Forze, but that's why it's handy if you have a coach. It's going to be Business Associates versus Boom, and then the winner of that will face Forze again. But Aster, they're one of the favorites going into this tournament, and they just showed today why. They look clean, they look good, and they just wiped the floor with Forze. I can't help but wonder how much, especially this last game, is draft related rather than play related. But we also saw in the laning stages that they're just able to outplay their opponent.
I mean, it's kind of both, because I felt like Forze felt like the first game they had like a pretty good draft, but they still couldn't win the game with the Meepo. So
Yeah.
this game they might be thinking of something cheesy. They try to go all in with a dazzle push, and it just didn't work.
What's funny though is that Aster didn't really show that they have this one set strategy or two that they have practiced a lot and they're coming with it into this tournament. They have a set of them. And
Yeah.
you can't go tomorrow and just ban out their heroes.
We saw a complete different opening both games in these two games that we saw against Forze, and both very different in terms of style as well,
they
not just
played
heroes.
Very good Dota, I think. It's just that simple, you know.
Yeah.
They had a
Yes.
plan. They drafted to it. They are very clear about who has the importance of a good laning phase, who needs the best start in the early game, and they gave SECC a lot of priority in terms of how he started the game, how much he gets farm, how much space he's going to get from his team. So it's just very clear about how they're playing. Yeah, sure, you might find out what they're going to play, you know, but dealing with it is another matter.
Yeah.
Now, we also heard Owen and Kyle say it at the end of that cast. Aster might not have found any kind of real opponents in their own group, but what about the other group? Group B has got two teams that are looking for the title that are considered the best of their group. Now, I know that it's just two teams and there's still a couple more games to be played tomorrow as well, but Gambit and Alliance will go up against each other. The winner of that makes it to playoffs straight away. The loser of that, there is still, I feel like there's a big chance that they'll make it to the playoffs anyway, but that means you have to face up against Aster. So even if you do make it to playoffs, you don't want to face up against Aster, because these three teams seem like the strongest teams here in Kiev this week. But that upper bracket finals for Group B, Alliance Gambit, our blockbuster of today, will be played after a break. The final series of the day here at the StarLadder Kiev Minor. And it's a juicy one. We have Alliance taking on Gambit, two teams that I think they are expecting to meet each other somewhere along the way in the playoffs as well. And we're going to find out which one is ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, if you will, here with Tsunami and Winter. Breaking the series down, it is the upper bracket for Group B. So both of these teams, you know, we know they already won a series today. And let's start with Alliance, because we have not actually seen Alliance on the